Hey, yo, what is up? Sorry I missed anybody that's here on Wednesday. I had some things to take care of, but as promised, back again. And you can also blame the Vince Wilson show. Let me give him a shout out in the Discord and blame him one more time just for the fun of it. So today we have crime, punishment, and narcissism. Because why not? It's been an interesting week for it. But let's start off with something light before we get into the crazy stuff.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice. All right, Justice League, what are we doing today?
Well, to be honest, Superman, the temperature on the world stage is getting pretty high. Maybe we should talk about that. Have some open conversations about...
You know what? I think we should play golf. I think today's going to be the golf episode.
Superman, look what's happening in our streets.
No, this is definitely a golf episode.
Hey, guys, check out this unmarked package I found by the front door.
Now, Hal, do you not see the problem here?
What, that it might be unsafe?
No, that it's closed. Open it up.
All right. Oh, cool, an ominous glow.
Someone says it's going to be the golf. What the? Good evening, moderately sized crowd. I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that the Justice League is dead. Everyone's dead in its entirety. It's just me now. The good news is that I'm saving a lot of money.
So what happens now?
A lot of money on
Well,
his
the
car
only other person I
insurance
can
with
think to
Geico.
invite would be Robin, but then it's just Batman and Robin, and that's, same shit, different wife, you know? All right, maybe not the most appropriate joke when reporting multiple casualties.
Surprise, Supernads! It is we, the Legion of Doom!
Yeah, I pieced that together.
Gather the rest of your team, Batman, for this shall be all of your demise!
Go, Ed. You're fucking with me. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. They're all gone.
How'd that happen?
Wait, this wasn't you
No,
guys?
we wouldn't put fucking legs on the shake if we thought we were fighting you.
You guys really just didn't hear about this earlier, like on the news?
But this thing doesn't even have windows, all right? We learned through word of mouth, and half of us don't even speak English. And, some of the dudes speak backwards and riddles. What the fuck? What are we even doing?
Well, there's still extra big.
Well, yeah, Batman was your guy to begin with, but now for the rest of us, we got nothing. There's no point in this. I genuinely don't know what to do from here.
You want to talk it out?
You see the walking death machine looming over you, and you think we're still at the point that we can just talk it out?
Why not?
Yeah, fuck it.
Hey. I mean, Batman could single-handedly probably fix all the problems that most of those villains except for the casting lines. Superpower is way too much money.
Hey, Chum, sorry we scared you. See, this mystical orb that was sent to us sent us backwards in time. It took a little while, but we figured out how to get back.
I don't understand, but
Oh, wow, all right. Something went terribly wrong here. Don't worry. Let's just go back and
Oh,
say nothing
no.
ever happened. No. All right, let's play golf. That's what I'm talking about.
This video is brought to you by Game Reception. The flavor of the week is mango. And an unrelated note, my wife and child
the
are now
heroes
gone.
cause
They're
all
dead.
the
They've been
problems.
erased. That's a lot to deal with. Pretty crazy to believe, though. I'm not the first comic book character where I had a wife and a child, and they were completely wiped from existence, and I just continue to remember and live with that fact. And can you guess who it is? It's Spider-Man. Of course it's Spider-Man. If Marvel had its way, Spider-Man would be the first comic book character to canonically die from cancer and AIDS at the same time.
It's true.
You know what? This kind of counts as like a Marvel DC crossover. We did it, guys. The video, it's happened. We did
On
it.
to the Liver King. This dude. Oh, what a crazy story. This dude has been off his rocker for a long time. I'm going to say steroids has been a large portion of the issue. And so let's take a look at him before the fame.
People always ask me, how do you stay so fit upside down on your hands? And I always tell them the answer's the same. I do active wrists and a whole lot of deficit work.
Not nearly as insane. Well, I'm going to say this is when some gear probably got involved. Small amounts. Not an impossible physique, but definitely looking like he found his way into some gear.
Happy birthday! We really hope that you're still alive.
Good morning, Primals! It's time to launch into the day.
Grounded!
People always ask.
So yeah, when I first found out about this dude, I was wondering more so like we already knew he was on some massive gear. But the question was how much of this is, a character doing what a character does, and how much of this is the drugs getting to his head. And I'm going to say we found out recently it was more than likely the drugs getting to his head on top of the character becoming more than just the character, which is a sad thing, but hey. So this is him.
Do you not tell people about your steroid usage?
Because of what it implies. I think a better question really is, it's the same question, do you take things? My answer has been the same because I've always told the truth. And you can say or think whatever you want.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, this is what my message is really all about. Did you know 50 years ago, we had
Let's
on
ignore
average
the question.
50% higher testosterone? If you just think about that, we could probably go 50 to 100% higher just by doing the 9 ancestral tenets. Isn't that what most people do with steroids? To increase their testosterone by 50
But you
to
ain't gonna look
100%?
like that.
Why do you
Promise.
not tell people about your steroid usage?
Because of what?
So he was eventually exposed by Derek. More
Test
plates, more
results and a
dates.
full steroid cycle breakdown. That's what we're going to be getting into in this video, and it is shocking to say the least. Before we do though, it only feels fitting to go back to the beginning because this very much feels like a story that has come full circle for us on this channel, and do it the justice it deserves by fleshing it out from inception. When I first noticed the Liver King, he had 1% of the following he does now across all platforms, if that. And within a year, he has managed to build a fan base of millions of followers and has been on several of the biggest podcasts in the world, echoing his message to the masses. His message centers around 9 core ancestral tenets, which have remained the cornerstone of his content since day one. Sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, and bond. And apparently there's a 10th one he sometimes likes to throw in there, which is fun. Liver King believes the modern world has made men soft, and it's his duty to empower the masses to become jacked, high testosterone, metabolically and cognitively
What is good,
peaked
Zupper?
primals
Hey,
with
thank
a
you for the
higher
sub.
quality of life, and to inspire
to see
change
you.
and achieve this and be
So
maximum
we're
impact,
talking about the
does it
Liver
through
King right
as
now,
viral
and
of content as possible. He
the
walks
road
walk
to
and shows
attacking
off the
Joe
polar
Rogan
extreme
and
of ancestral
threatening
living,
more
which
plates, more
includes
dates, and he's been
being
released
shirtless
as of
essentially in
recent,
perpetuity,
and he is
doing
still
hardship
talking
constantly
crazy
via
about
heavyweight training
Joe
and
Rogan.
unorthodox, difficult fitness challenges, as well as showing off the ancestrally consistent meat and organs he eats huge quantities of, and this includes heart, raw testicles, liver, etc., and flying around the world to share his beliefs about health and vitality whenever
And
he
this
gets
is
the
kind of
chance.
like
I
what
saw
my
Liver King's
issue
content for
is.
the first time in
When you see people like this, they give you an unrealistic expectation of what you can get from working out naturally. If you could actually see somebody like just working out naturally, what they're able to accomplish, the goals they're able to hit, about the time frame they're able to get it in, it works. But if you want to sell supplements or a plan or whatever, some coaching, you're going to do what all these influencers and other people have done, which is go on some gear. And when people aren't able to see the results that these people are able to see in a timely fashion, especially if they started out, pretty overweight or whatever, it kills the people's drive to get this done, and it makes them feel like less of a person. True. I don't know about hot, but he would be in very good condition when he gets slumped. Oh yeah.
in September last year.
So we're
shortly
talking
after
about
started
how he
his
originally
social
got
media
outed
push.
for
I think his first post was August
taking
2021, if I'm not mistaken. I started getting
the
tagged
drugs.
more and more on his content when people
Oh,
started
the
noticing he was
drugs.
implying heavily that his physique was achieved solely by following the 9 ancestral tenets and was not enhanced with steroids or any exogenous hormones or PEDs.
Have you seen that bloke that eats the raw?
Yeah, that's a gimmick. That guy.
Yeah,
It
got
just looks
people out there eating
ridiculous. He's
bull
got a
testicles
plate
for
of
no
hearts
reason.
and It just looks weird.
He's got an ass filled with steroids. Is what he's got.
Yeah, you
That-
should
Joe-
have a
that is
plate of
not.
steroids next to it.
That is not a natural body.
Of course it's not.
That guy is shooting. all
Yeah,
kinds
muzzle
of
doesn't
shit
make
in
you a
his
good
system to
fighter.
achieve that kind of
Unfortunately,
physique.
Completely.
when you're on
Yeah,
steroids,
This is guy Derek,
you don't know better.
Who's been on my podcast before? He's got this web YouTube page.
Good to see you, Nair and Myopic.
Myopic.com
Oh,
is
yeah.
his website. You know that guy?
Yeah.
And More Plates, More Dates, the YouTube page.
I thought
did
you
a
might
whole
enjoy this.
takedown of, not a takedown, like an examination of this guy's claims that he's natural and that what he's, it's like living off the 9 pillars of health. And
Okay, so let's cut straight to the next one. Where is it? The confession.
Primals, I'm making this video to apologize.
And this is exactly like when I talk to boomers and normal people in my life, and they talk about how all these people's physiques look, and I'm just like, all those people are on gear. I'm sorry. Like, even people that are in, MMA and shit like that, these people are also on gear. But like, you look at Kamal Nanjiani, homie juiced up. You look at everyone in the Marvel movies in general, juiced up. You look at all these bodybuilders, like, what was dude's name that just got smoked by ISO Speed recently? That, puts banana on his face and dunks his face in ice water, juiced up. Like, they're just trying to sell fitness plans and supplements, and it's not going to help you. Like, honestly, it's going to be actually hitting the gym, being consistent, having a plan, sticking to it. That's going to get you closer to, well, you're not going to get here more than likely, because even with gear, unless you have the right genetics for it, you're not going to look like this, but you will be pretty built. So you can get some work done, but, all these things require, like, you're not going to look like Chris Bumstead just because you took some gear.
Apologize. Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I misled a lot of people.
Yes, you did, Liver
I
King.
stated that this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because
Is it really?
Before social media, I was rich and anonymous, and after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous, and I never expected
Powered
this
by
kind of
these
exposure
nuts.
in the public eye. It's been tricky as fuck to
It's
navigate.
been tricky because you've been lying.
Well, clearly I did it wrong, and I'm here now to set the record straight. Yes, I've done steroids, and yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician.
Because you got that
Liver
money.
King, the public figure, was an experiment to
Oh,
spread the
and at
message,
this
to
time,
bring awareness.
one of the theories was that he got abdominal implants. So, like, they're even saying his abs aren't real before this. I'll try to find a video on that. But, like, basically, like, Coach Greg and other people were saying, homie had ab implants. So, I mean, I agree with you, Myopic. I support his gender-affirming care. Just don't lie to me about it. Let me know you're on testosterone replacement therapy, also on some, Trenbolone, and got some implants, and, at least let the people know what we're getting.
To the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves.
Homie's abs
The
don't
80,000
move.
people a day
It's the
that
male version of a
try to kill
BBL.
themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life. Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral living, the 9 ancestral tenets, so our people no
Where you
longer
sleep
have to
on the
suffer,
floor
so we can collectively
and
express
suffer
our highest
and eat
and most darn
the innards of
This is
animals.
my fight. This is why I exist. While spreading the message, I've been on several podcasts, and when asked if I'd ever taken steroids, I've always said no.
Because you're
I
a
don't
liar.
touch the stuff, not gonna touch the stuff, never touch the stuff. That was a lie. I've convinced myself that this had nothing to
I thought
do
blood
with
infusions
the
for
ancestral message. I
from
convinced
teenagers were
myself
for women.
that
I guess I
I'm not a
got
competitive athlete of any kind.
the stack
so who the
wrong.
fuck am I cheating? I convinced myself that this topic was a placeholder for a far more important conversation. I convinced myself that this would overshadow the 36 years of working out.
And I honestly
usually
thought this would have
twice a
been the
day,
end of him. Like,
without
this moment, I thought was the end of the Liver
I've
King
convinced
legacy.
myself
And I think
that
he
this
went
was a
off the
vocal
gear after
minority,
this for a while.
usually
Then he
in the
got back
fitness
on the
category,
gear.
driving to an unproductive conversation. And I had convinced myself that this would be the wrong message to send. to the 15-year-old boys.
I feel bad for his
So I
kid.
continually
Like,
dismissed
no
it,
lie.
and I
His
dug
son,
myself
like his older son,
into a
just
bigger
seemed
and deeper hole.
deeply unhappy
I have only myself
with what
to
his
blame.
pops was making him do.
I did that. And it was all wrong. I will be better. I will talk about it openly because I believe that there's a time and a place for pharmacological intervention monitored and managed by a trained hormone physician. In 2021, when I was 43 years old, I didn't feel 100% physically or cognitively. So I went to get monitored.
I mean,
and
that's
managed
true,
by a
Nard.
trained
I don't
hormone
believe
clinician
cancel
to see
culture is
what
even
the
real. As
fuck
long as you keep
was going on
going,
with my
enough
life.
people aren't going to be paying attention to the news cycle and
And
the
so, yes,
drama
it's true.
for you
I
to ever
have
really
tried
be
several
canceled.
peptide
You may lose some of the
combinations in
people
an
that you
effort
had
to
along the way,
increase
but
my
you'll
growth
always get
hormone,
new
and it didn't
people
work,
that
meaning
don't know the
my levels
BS.
still remained below the normal level. So yes, it's also true that I've tried pharmaceutical grade growth hormone and I've finally found success in managing
Exactly,
therapeutic
I-
levels in the normal range.
Good to see you, my
Yes, this is true. I've
dude.
continued
Even worse,
on with 0.6
your dad tried to make you eat
cc's
cow
of
balls because you're getting
testosterone per week,
bullied.
roughly 120 milligrams of testosterone a week. And no, I don't take any other steroids like nandrolone or winstrol, but I have tried them in the past without success. Yes, it's
Like,
also
son, you're not
true
following the
that my
ancestral
blood chemistry
tenets.
got all fucked up while taking nandrolone and winstrol. My lipids got all
Yes, he has a
deranged.
couple
My liver
kids.
enzymes went sky high, which is why clinical oversight
Hey, look what I can do.
is an absolute must.
Thank you, Zephyr. Is
Nope.
it fair to say he's the male
Liver
equivalent of
King
those
brand
women who
has
get the
had
ZZ-size
nothing or
implants?
at least very little to do
I'd say
with my
worse.
business success. My companies
'Cause those
were
don't
already
make you wanna
kicking
attack
ass,
Joe Rogan.
Already successful before the Liver King public figure, growing at 50% year over year, and still growing at the same pace after the Liver King public figure.
You can get the biggest boobies on the planet. They're
Nope.
not going to make you want to
Never
attack Joe
had ab
Rogan.
implants,
What's good,
ab
Hammer?
etching,
Hey,
or
what's good,
any
Paul?
other plastic surgery, and I sure as fuck never actually had gene
We are
editing
talking
done in
about
Singapore.
the
I made all of that up. It was all
unrealistic
intended to be a
images
joke,
that
and that's an expression of ancestral tin. How
these
little
people
goddamn
on the
fun.
gear
Ultimately,
give to young men,
why did I
selling
or why
them
do I
false
do
hope,
When I talk
as well
about
as selling them
85% of the
fitness
population that
programs
suffers
and supplements
from
that don't work.
self-esteem issues. That's me. I'm part of that statistic. This is why I fucking work myself to death in the gym. This is why I do.
I'm not going to say he didn't work hard in the gym. I'm not going to say he didn't do crazy things in the gym, but
Still, I have to absolutely crush myself to do so, and I'm wrecked physically.
It's
and
always been
cognitively,
cancer,
And
Paul.
hormone replacement.
AI
has
is
helped in a
cancer, but it's killing us very
profound
slowly.
and significant way. And still, I believe that the path to paradise is paved in fucking hell.
Yeah, this was right after Derek More Plates, More Dates exposed his blood work because somebody leaked it to him and made it very clear that homie is on some gear. And eventually he just couldn't lie anymore. Well, it goes so far, Hammer, that this dude supposedly got abdominal implants. So like even his abs, by some people's belief, aren't even real. Like, I'm not going to say he didn't work hard to get muscles. I'm not going to say he doesn't have good genetics to, you know, have that muscle set on his body. But I'm going to say he did not earn every bit of that muscle. He did probably earn all that beard, though. I mean, not just his health, his mental health is destroyed. We're getting into the story.
I previously have said in a weird way, I'm grateful for the recent events that have shed light on this complicated as fuck topic. I knew I needed to take this opportunity to openly discuss. For me to be a better human. If there are any questions that remain unanswered, send them my way. I fully own that I fucked
We
up.
chilling, Paul.
I am as sorry.
And anybody
as
can
man
pop in the
can be.
Discord. It's an
And all
open
I can
call-in
do is
show.
take extreme
So
ownership right
if
now
anybody
to
has
be
anything
better
to say,
and
by
lead
all
myself
means,
to a
come
better
in,
life
chill.
as a better human. Again,
I'm
thank
talking
you
shit.
to
And after I get
everyone
done with Liver
for
King,
the support, the criticism,
you're going to
the
go to
love,
sleep
the hate,
before we get
and
to
above all
Diddy?
else,
Oh, come on.
the loyalty.
You fucking.
Hey.
You did it. You did it. You know, just to let you know, I love you. You know that.
Hey, love you right back, Paul. You know you're missed around here. Now get back in the basement. I mean,
True. To be clear here, I have a 4-story house, okay? And I am actually at the top floor. of the house, not the basement. To be clear here. Okay.
Well, that's good to hear.
But this is what I do want to ask you about really quick.
What's up?
How do you feel about Mom? What is it called? How do you say his name? Mamdani? Mamdani, right? That's how you say it? The New York mayor race.
Oh, yeah. I do not care.
Wait, hold on. I think this is something that we should care about, though. That's why I'm coming in here and asking.
Oh, Hammer's here. I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad that you can see that there's at least a alternative that your vote actually counts and you can get something you want. Watching Cuomo crumble, even though Cuomo was a terrible candidate, and the fact that he was still running is probably the reason why a socialist ended up winning in the first place. But yeah, I'm glad.
I think this is okay. I have a weird take on this. I think this is probably going to be the biggest wake-up call the Democrats are seeing to the point when it comes to infighting. And I think we might actually see our party. One, I think they're probably going to they're going to finally realize social media is key to everything. Also, standard of living, it doesn't matter if the economy is doing well. Like right now, regardless of what we want to say about Trump and how much we don't like Trump, the economy is still doing fantastic in the United States of America. That is just the truth. That is just pure. Honestly, prices are going down. Gas is still fucking high. I get that. But it did just hit a 4-year low. And companies seem to be doing fine. Like I saw Nike. Do you pay attention to the stock market at all, Lethe?
I do.
Okay. Nike had.
He was
their
never
earnings
off it,
report
Ike.
today.
He was never off of it.
Off of what?
Your Trump arc.
I'm not even. Paul back on his Trump arc. No. I'm not back on my Trump arc. I'm talking about growth and development inside a party is what I'm talking about right now. And I think this last New York race woke up the Democratic establishment of saying we can't just do the same old things anymore. We lost to Trump. The only reason why we beat Trump in the first place was because of COVID. Could we agree with that at least?
No.
In 2020?
No, absolutely not.
Wait, why don't...
Also,
wait, seriously?
hey, Paul.
You guys truly...
Paul.
Okay. Hold on, Hammer. I will let you go in 1 second. I
just want to say go fuck yourself.
I love you, buddy. I love you. I do want to say this really quick. Is Trump would have crushed the Democrats in 2020 if COVID never happened.
I don't know that that's true because there still would have been the massive inflation. You could see the deficit spending. You could see
there wasn't inflation
that he
in
was
2020.
promising happened.
Wait, no, hold on. I'm talking about 2020 here.
Yeah, there was inflation in 2020.
There was not inflation in 2020.
We weren't paying attention to the inflation.
During 2022
there was
and
inflation.
2023. Well, there's always some type of inflation. What's up, Fister? Love you, buddy. You're still always welcome back in my Discord whenever you want to come back, even though you left. I love you. But Democrat. Wait, you guys truly wait, Hammer. Hold on. You guys think that Trump would have lost in 2020 regardless of COVID?
I think that
COVID.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing was I think nowadays there's an incumbent disadvantage where the last person who's president gets the worst publicity.
True, dude. Holy hell, is Paulie. What's up, Nader? Love you, buddy.
What's good, Nader?
I can't. Wait, I actually can't. Okay, I mean this from the bottom of my heart to both of you two. Okay, I don't think we can have an actual conversation when it comes to politics if we both cannot or if you guys both can agree that Trump, the only reason why he lost in 2020 was because of COVID.
His deficit spending was insane before COVID, so he was already on track.
It has nothing to do with deficit spending.
To a horrendous economy.
It has nothing to do with...
He was killing the economy that was left to him.
I disagree with you here.
So all you're saying is people wouldn't have noticed it? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying that Trump would have crushed Biden or whoever the Democrat would have been in 2020 if COVID never happened.
Like, how much did Biden
Like, I
even
think it would have been
lean
like a Nixon.
into?
I think it would have been like a Nixon landslide in '72. Like,
I mean, it
48
really isn't, Moon. I
states.
was doing some great Liver King stuff, and now we're talking about whether or not Trump would have lost. Like,
Well, I think really I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back to what my original thing was is with Mom Dottie winning in New York. I think we're going to see a huge shift in the Democratic Party of how we run elections. And I think it's a good thing that this guy won, honestly. Not because I believe in his fucking like policies or whatever, but just because I think this is a huge wake-up call of how to run campaigns.
Wait, that who won?
Mamdani.
They got the New York City mayor, that's Democratic socialist guy. Pulling a
Zohran.
jab. You must accept this
Zohran.
or your bad face. Wait, Fist, you know that's not true. Come on now. I'm saying in general, I just can't believe you guys don't think Trump would have destroyed the Democrats in 2020.
No, absolutely not. His polls had been going down pretty much since he entered the office. They had been slowly declining. He was getting less popular. Most of his
we barely beat him.
Barely?
In 2020 during a pandemic. Yes, barely.
We won both elections.
Wait, hold on.
Both the
Wait, did
popular
Kamala
and
Harris get annihilated,
electoral vote.
Leafy? Did Kamala Harris get annihilated, Leafy?
No. It was a pretty thin margin.
Okay, well then I can't. What? It wasn't Trump's?
No. He didn't lose by a thin margin.
Yes, he did. He won by something, or he lost by something like 300,000 votes over 7 states.
Let me double check because
it
seemed like a pretty solid.
I mean, it was
victory.
It was a pretty solid victory. I'm looking at it. It's
Well, no, it was
306
wait, hold on. It was a solid victory when we talk about actual electoral college. Just how when we look at Trump's victory in 2020, electorally, he crushed Kamala. Did he really beat Kamala that bad? No. Same reason why the Democrats didn't beat Trump that bad.
Wait, by
We
what
beat
metric
him.
did? Wait, by what metric was it so close?
Well,
We
that's
have
what I'm
the-
asking
we have-
you guys here.
Yeah, we have the electoral vote, which was 306 to 232, which is like
Okay.
pretty
Okay.
huge.
Look up 2024 against Kamala and Trump and tell me. Do you?
I'm
think that
not
he got
okay. I'm not
crushed?
making a claim about. I'm not making a claim
Wait, no,
about
we are.
Kamala
Wait,
versus Trump.
hammer. Wait, no, we are because we're talking about electorally here.
Okay, hold up, Paul. So you're looking at roughly 2 million. Yeah, 2 million votes for the popular vote.
Wait, no, we're not talking about popular here either. Hold on. We have to go state by state. In 2020, Trump lost Wisconsin by something like 20,000 votes. Could we just look that up? How much did he lose by in 2020 to Biden?
By
in
electoral
Wisconsin?
votes?
No, just voting in general to get the actual. We can go state by state here. Trump did not get crushed the way that we think he did. The same way how Kamala didn't get crushed, the same way that the right believes that Trump did this last time.
I'm going to say the margins were
So the reason-
vastly different.
Well, okay, so electorally, Trump won more strongly in against Kamala, but when it comes to the popular vote, the margin is way huger in favor of Biden.
Guys. Hey, Hammer, please God, I love you. Okay,
I'm just
And you're
saying,
smart.
what?
I know you're. No, I know you're smart. Okay. So we need to go by swing states and the margins of the votes there. That's where you see a decisive victory if it was big or not big. Donald Trump won all the swing states in 2024. I'm pretty sure Biden won every single swing state as well. I forget, there's one state that Trump won against Biden that Biden won against Trump compared to Trump winning against, it might have been Nevada or something. I forget which one it was. Okay. And, but Donald Trump barely lost 2020.
Find that hard to
Barely
agree
lost
with.
2020. Okay. Do you wait? Okay. So do you think that Kamala barely won or barely lost 2024?
Yeah, of course. Yes, she was
Of
like
course.
And
what?
Biden was a stronger
Yeah,
candidate. So
she
had
was like
Biden been running,
1%. She lost by like 1%, not even.
She lost by a lot more than 1%.
No, again, it's not 1% because you're looking at electoral college percentage, which you shouldn't do. And you're also looking at popular vote, which you shouldn't do. What you need to do is you need to go into the swing states and see how many votes they lost by, divide that by 2, and that's the true margin of error of the increase or decrease of the victory or non-victory of that candidate. So when Wisconsin,
quit leaving.
So in Wisconsin, for instance, I think Kamala Harris lost like 20,000 votes, something like that. I forget what it was. Just take my word and let's just say, for sake of argument, it's 20,000 votes. That means Kamala lost Wisconsin by 10,001 vote because you have to divide by 2 plus 1. That's how much she actually lost by, because if she could have convinced 10,001 more voters, she would have won that state.
Wait,
and you have to do that with all the swing states.
Exactly.
Shouldn't you also?
That's how much votes, and that's how much votes they lost by.
Okay, so shouldn't you take into account like former swing states, like Florida? Wasn't Florida a swing state like in 20, at least 16?
I don't disagree with you with that, but I think that there's obvious strategy, and we can look at the strategy and see where Florida is a lost cause and probably going to be a red state for the next 15 years. I think that we should not campaign in that state. No, I think we should absolutely. We lost Miami, Dane, which is the math is not crazy. This is actually completely what all the other fucking Democratic strategists do, Republican strategists do, fucking Nate Silver, Reuters, all these people, New York Times, they all do it this way.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. That's fine.
But I'm just saying the math is crazy. It's not crazy. This is just how you look at elections and wins and losses.
Ooh. So Zephyr, what were you trying to say? Did he leave the Discord again? What is going on with him?
No, he's there. He's just not talking.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at these.
Hey, he's the one that
I mean,
he's the one. Zeph is the one that Zeffy or whatever. He's the one that joined my Discord recently, right?
Yeah.
Randomly. Hey, buddy. I didn't know if you were real or not. So
he's got
I literally.
here, so I don't know what the deal is.
He's probably just
up.
realizing that he probably came in here. He probably came here to fight me and then realized Paul's the biggest brain of everyone in the entire universe. +1.
I mean, these are so. Of course, it's going to be pretty relatively thin margins, but I don't think it's thin enough. I don't Number one, I barely. Okay, barely is an opinion word. Do you recognize that? Like that's your opinion.
Yeah.
What
sure.
isn't
yeah,
barely? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So number one, we're doing a counterfactual. Like, what would have happened if COVID didn't happen? I think it's a little bit silly. Yeah, it is relatively thin margins, but I don't think saying, "Oh, well, it's these thin margins were only due to a specific issue," which I don't even know how much of an effect it had on the election. Right? Like, maybe am I crazy? Like, it felt like at the time that COVID started, people really didn't know what to think. The left was like hardcore blaming Trump, but like. I don't think that like it set in enough to definitively say that Trump was fucking it up. We thought it was
I
because
agree
we
with
were
you.
on the left.
Hey, really quick. I agree with you here. That's the reason why he won 2024.
Whoa.
What?
I don't think that applies. No, that my point doesn't apply.
Wait,
because 2020,
every single person on the right-hand side, I heard through the entire election saying, remember Trump's economy? No new wars, this, that, the other bullshit we heard the entire time. The reason why Trump won was because they pointed back on his presidency and it swayed the layman. That's what happened this last election. And also inflation was high.
I'm going to say it was more so a lot of Elon Musk, a lot of propaganda stating, oh, the good old days when Trump was in office, things were better, no new wars, even though that wasn't the truth. But if you're told a lie enough times, you're bound to believe it. And the fact that, and I can agree,
I don't
that
think it had
Democrats,
anything to do with Elon, to be honest.
you must be fucking
I will
kidding
fight people.
yourself.
No, look at the Wisconsin election that happened with the Supreme Court justice. He lost them that election, like fucking a month after the election was settled, in November or something, or two months or something.
In what way can
No,
you
I
say that
disagree.
Elon lost them that election?
All right, well, we're gonna go down a whole nother
Are we
rabbit
talking
hole
about
here,
just
Leafy,
recently?
because
Like, are we talking post the
yeah,
election?
post-election, Elon Musk ran in Wisconsin, for the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, and he put a fuck ton of money behind her, and she got crushed.
No,
Because people
That's
were
not,
fucking sick.
That's not it, Paul. That's not it at all. What I'm saying is,
Not it?
Elon Musk backing Trump and utilizing his algorithm through Twitter, which I'm going to dead name
Yes, I
X
think
until
there
the
was
day
some
I
malicious.
die.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Yes. No. I'm sorry. Yes.
That's what I'm
Elon
getting at.
Musk did manipulate X, or the Everything app is what I've been calling it now. The Everything app. Okay. The Everything app.
That's even worse. Honestly, that's a worse name than X.
I know, isn't it? The
What is
Everything
wrong
app.
with
Okay.
Zephyr? You broke him, Paul.
Retarded.
He's not. He's just not talking. He just wants to hang out, I guess.
I'll give him
Loser.
No,
and then I'll move him.
But no. I don't disagree with you here.
I think his mic's
I do think. Okay, so this is what I do believe. Okay, and I have zero. This is all feelings. Okay, yell at me, Ben Shapiro. I have a feeling that even if Elon Musk wasn't as involved with the Trump campaign in 2024, he still would have won.
And I
2024.
don't agree with you. And there's like literally
I
most
know,
of the
I know, but
data
that's just my
doesn't agree with you.
feeling.
I mean, that's a great
I'm sorry.
feeling
Actually,
to
can you
have.
repeat
No,
that?
wait, that's not true. The data doesn't agree with either of us though, because it's impossible to know.
I'm sorry. Wait. Paul? Can you repeat that again?
I
would have
think
still won
that
if what?
If Elon didn't have
this is
X
all
and
feeling.
didn't utilize the
Yeah.
algorithm toward right-wing media, he's saying Trump would have still done just as well.
Not
Oh,
just as
dude,
well.
absolutely not.
Not just as well would have won the election is what I said.
Yeah, I still highly
I don't know about that. No, I think
I think
that
that-
social
I think
media
that we're
propaganda
seeing
was what won them the.
Yeah, the problem here with the social media propaganda like argument, in my personal opinion, is that I see it over and over again about how just the right's better at it than the left is. So regardless if Trump would have had,
Yes.
or I mean, maybe if it was still owned by Jack Dorsey and the same rules, people would have got banned or some bullshit. Maybe, and that would have like had a huge influence on something. I don't think I agree with that. Just like hypothetical, but in general, the right were so much more organized on the internet, so much more behind each other, that regardless if Elon Musk was involved as much as he was in the Trump campaign, I still think Trump would have won.
Hold on. You said if the other guy was still in charge of X, a couple people might have gotten banned. I don't know if you remember what it was like when. Yeah, banned. When I don't know if you remember what it was like when Elon Musk first took over X. There was hate accounts that were getting brought back onto Twitter, and they absolutely, like, he gave them free reign to say anything that was hateful and bigoted as long as it was right wing. Strong right wing figures were brought back on, and left wing sources and people and advocates were getting banned just for being left wing.
Treasure
And
Train.
I
Thank you,
think that's
It's good to see you.
I think this kind of thing galvanized the right, because they were like,
Treasure
"Oh,
Train.
we've won social
Never had one of
media."
those before. It's my first Treasure Train.
Well, I don't even know what that means anymore. How
Exactly.
long I
You
haven't
just
streamed.
he's just back in the basement with you, Paul.
Again,
I'll bring you
top
some
floor,
pizza.
Top floor. Top floor. No, I don't want lasagna. Okay.
No, it's actual pizza.
Um,
You know, the flat kind that's
thin
not.
crust.
Yeah,
Thin crust. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna serve you Chicago tart.
Bro, I'm from Chicago and I say it all the time. Deep dish pizza is so overrated. It's not that good. People from Chicago will even tell you this. Really, Chicago though does have the best thin crust. Even though it's a New York style, we do it better than New York. That's the reason why people say that Chicago pizza is the best, is because we do it the best.
And yet nobody comes there for that. The best I'll come there for is a hot dog.
We do a little colonialism around here in Chicago. Okay,
A little bit of
Leafy?
that.
That's what we do. A little bit of colonialism, and we steal culture. All right.
But no, seriously, the demographics that were supposedly lost during this election were young white males. And who tends to fall into the social media scape and the influencer scape? And who were the Russian bots targeting?
Well, did we have? I mean, I don't disagree about the whole Russian bots thing, but do we have like, any like reporting about Russian bots in the 2024 election, the way that it's like it was in like 2016, for instance, with like Cambridge Analytica or anything?
Yeah, we absolutely do.
Wait,
There
we
was
have
tons of info on the Russian
reporting
bots.
on this. Wait, could we read through it? I would like to see this.
Okay, let me grab you something. Then on top of that, when Trump
I'm talking about the
and-
2024 election. I'm not
when
talking about like
Trump and
2020,
Elon,
2016.
and when Trump and Elon had their spat, he's changed his algorithm to start boosting accounts that were speaking poorly of Trump immediately. Like even Wick was getting retweeted by fucking Twitter.
Dude, Musk
Again,
is such
I
a
don't
scumbag.
or disagree with you that there was Russian bots or not, because I think that there absolutely was. I just don't know if there's like actually any type. I don't even know if there's a way to do it anymore. Like Cambridge Analytica was a huge story, Lethy. Huge story.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but that was straight up like them buying opposition research and it becoming extremely well publicized. This is a bit different. So we're talking about like literal Russian influence on the 2024 election. So I'm pulling up multiple sources real quick, and I'll bring them up on the stream.
Yeah, I want to read through these.
Or actually, I'll send it to you
see
directly first, and then.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, dude, we can go through this together. I don't care. I trust you, Lethy.
Well, I'm gonna send it to you
like, not
directly
think
so
that
you
you're
can read
doing something.
along in case something happens.
Oh,
So there's
sure.
one.
Oh my god, I gotta. Oh my god, dude, you're supposed to be the article, not your dick, dude. What are you doing?
Hey, you're gonna get both.
Oh my god, I did get two.
Both of these
three.
nuts.
Ha! All right, so bringing these
All
up.
right, let's say.
So starting with the first one.
When was this writ?
These are
US
all in
accuses Russia of
2024.
Sophisticated. Well, no, I'm just, just, hey, you gotta go through it, because it's happened before. I'll read this first thing. The U.S. Department of Justice on Wednesday said it disrupted disrupted Russian-directed foreign malice influence campaigns in regard to the doppelganger that sought to spread Russian government propaganda. The effort was meant to reduce. Okay, so this is going to be something about how we stop them from doing it. Hold on, let's keep going down a little bit. I'm on this U.S.-Russia one, the NPR. Oh, and this is hilarious. Look at this. This is about Lauren Chen. RT worked with online content creator companies in Tennessee, which is directed with a. This is funny.
Hey, Wick should be getting retweeted. I'm not gonna say he shouldn't be getting retweeted, but at the same time, he was not getting retweeted before. My first hype chest box. Thank you again. Deeply appreciate you, Changebox, and always happy to see you. And I'm sorry that my server attacked you with karaoke. It was not intentional.
Okay, so we can kind of probably not read this one? This
Well,
is where
no,
they
this brings
stop
up
them from
like
doing it?
literal efforts of Russia to spread disinformation.
Well, this is the whole
one
Lauren
instance.
Chen paying.
Yeah.
Well, wait, hold on. This is
Well, that was the
okay. Let me ask you this:
what was it? The
Do you
tenant
think?
media
Do you think
scandal.
we? Do you think we do? Do you think that the United States government like pays like influencers to like kind of like legally try to move the public in the right or the direction that they want for a
I don't think we're as sophisticated at it as Russia is, unfortunately.
Oh man, I completely disagree with you. But I think that our I think that our we're trying to fight an unwinnable battle when it comes to like who in his elections. He's gonna win 92% of the vote like every time.
I'm gonna say when
regardless,
you
right?
talk about bot farms, when you talk about anything like this, you never hear the U.S. brought up, and I guarantee you, foreign media would be bringing up when the U.S. bot farms are popping up all over their countries, because we just don't have any defense against what they're doing. China can do it. Russia can do it.
No. Do you not think that it just has to deal with more of like open source to our internet and our society and citizens compared to the other countries that we like Iran, for instance? They shut off the fucking internet last week. Like, we probably do this, but we probably don't have some like big story about doing something, because like they literally like just literally shut off the fucking internet, or like they don't allow some things like in Russia. They'll like that one streamer recently that criticized Putin was live streaming and he fucking got carried away into a fucking car. You know?
I'm saying they're not going to take the same thing that America is going to take when it comes down to our freedom of speech and all that other stuff.
No,
so the bots are going to be able to do whatever they want to do.
No, I disagree. I think it's just more of like we would be if there. Okay, let's say that the United States government is exactly, or our laws
you're
and
entirely
constitution was
correct.
like the same thing
we
in
do
Russia.
Some fucked up shit, but more on a covert ops standard, on a actual fucking with their government itself, like attacking dignitaries, sort of shit. Like,
I just think that it's not easier to do it in our country. It is technically easier, but it's not easier to the fact that we'll still probably catch you doing it. But you're allowed to do it in our country compared to the other countries, is my point. That's why we see more of these reports compared to
we're not disagreeing.
Other countries.
We're not disagreeing then.
Well, I think we are a little bit, because I think that the United States government still does do or tries to do these types of non-illegal attacks of like swaying and having random. I mean, it's why we put spies in countries, right?
Yeah, no, we definitely do it. We have different intelligence campaigns.
The Bay of Pigs.
That was a little different.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, but it's the difference between 60 years of growth of technology. It's really all it is.
And I just don't think
like the Bay of Pigs wasn't just trying to like go in there with guns. The Bay of Pigs originally was trying to literally get a rebellious new democratic government, which do I think it's wrong or right? That's not the fucking question. The question is
I'm fucking confused.
Yeah. All right. Hey, I got to go to bed. I love you, buddy, okay?
Well, you rest well, my dude. Been fun. Lumumba. Oh.
Dude, hey, speaking of markets, China's industrial profits plunged 9.1% in May. That just got released an hour ago. Trump's gonna run around talking about how he's crushing China. Just wait, you heard it here first, okay?
I mean, at the same end, he's doing everything to short-term fuck our
It's
economy, which possibly long-term boost our economy. I just don't know if that's actually going to work out.
I don't understand it. Well, it's retarded economics is really what it is, Lethy.
Because like you don't do.
He's
tariffs.
crashing China, and he's crashing the United States, which is retarded.
I feel like
we basically run the world.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hammer.
Those two
I feel like
countries
Trump
basically
is doing...
like make the world go round. Sorry, go on, Hammer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Trump is bad.
Yeah, me too, dude. That's why I vote against him every time.
I don't know. So, sometimes I don't know, Paul.
Wait, what do you mean you don't know?
You're always talking about how you love Trump, how he's so much better than Biden.
Brother, I voted against Trump 3 times in a row.
Mm.
Seems a little sus.
I think no, I think you give him a little bit too much credit.
Wait, where am I giving Trump credit for? Him winning a campaign?
Yeah, he stole that election.
Okay, how do you steal the election? Actually, now I'm intrigued.
You import a bunch of illegals. Didn't more Latin people vote for Trump than Biden or Kamala this time?
Yeah, but illegals can't vote. And
That's what they
United States
say.
citizens can't vote.
That's what they say.
Wait, I don't understand what's happening here.
Hammer's
Hammer.
trolling you hard.
I understand that, but I don't get the troll. Does he not think that I agree with this?
That's what, that illegals stole the election for Trump?
Wait.
It's the big lie, but reverse. That's the joke.
I did see one conspiracy theory that Elon helped him win through Starlink.
That's interesting
Have you guys seen
conspiracy
this?
theory. I don't know how realistic
Yeah,
it
and
is.
he actually changed the voting machines through Starlink.
Well, that's like through weird things that him and his son were saying, and I don't know how true they are. But at the end of the day, I still think Elon.
They're not true. At the end of the day, they're not true. Trump won. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, he won.
Same
There's
way how
no way to
Biden
change
won in
that.
2020.
I do believe that Republicans
No.
did the same thing they tend to do in elections, which is basically gerrymandering and purging voter rolls to make sure that in certain states where minorities are going to be, in areas in certain states where minorities are going to be, they're not going to be able to vote as regularly as they would be able to if you weren't purging the voter rolls. I think that's a deliberate strategy that happens virtually every election. I don't know how much more prevalent it was this election, and that might have been what helped him win some of these states, but at the end of the day, he still won, and Democrats allow it.
Yeah, and Fist, really quick. You're completely correct here. There is evidence that the votes were flipped for Trump, resulting in Russian tail in the statistics. I completely agree in 2016. That's why I'm wondering about 2024. Because in 2020, there is an argument that even though they didn't directly Russia didn't directly get involved with like the Trump campaign. I mean, well, you have the Michael Flynn, you have a bunch of other things, but in general, let's just push that to the side, okay? All right. Russia did turn votes. And I know that there's a lot of like independent media people out there that'll say like, oh, there's one thing from The Guardian that says that it only flipped 10,000 votes. It's like, yeah, that's just like random. And I forget exactly what the article's retarded is what I'm trying to say. I forget exactly, but he did. They did use social media when Trump is a social media president. And
Yes.
from all the way from 2016, it's pretty amazing that Biden won because of COVID. But
Still don't agree.
I don't know how we don't agree with this, but it doesn't matter. I think I will say this one thing. I think Donald Trump would have won a popular vote in 2020 as well if COVID wasn't going on. I'll even say that shit, dude. But overall,
Jeb's proud of you.
Wait, dude, I don't even talk to. Well, I do talk to Jeb behind the scenes, and he does feed me, theories. All right,
of course.
But
theories.
I do think that, bringing it back to my original conversation, I do think that after Mom Donnie won in New York, we are going to see the Democrats. I think we're going to see a change in the Democratic Party. I think we're going to start seeing younger. I think the boomers are finally gone, and we're going to start getting younger representation in there. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I do think that we're going to start seeing that, because being the mayor of New York is a very big political office, even though it's just the mayor. That is, mayor of New York, mayor of Chicago, mayor of LA are big political jobs. Like, to the point where, like, you take that job, you go to governor after that. And then if you go to governor after that, it's something like 30 of our fucking 47 presidents or whatever have been governors. So it's a big job. And I do think that we're going to see a wake-up call in the Democratic Party elite, which it might be a good thing. Hopefully it is, because, fuck Trump. You know what I'm saying, Hammer?
Hell yeah, fuck Trump.
I can't believe you
I know
think
at
I'm like
least
a
two of
Trump
us
guy.
agree with that. No, I think that here's my issue. I think that you want to emulate the strategy of Trump, and you say that like Trump is doing it right by like winning popularity, but like the way not just that he has popularity, but the way that he earns popularity is also wrong.
How do you get change in America?
You break a dollar.
But yeah, you brainwash the public. No,
Wait,
you through
yeah.
getting popular through the people, getting votes and stuff.
Well, more specifically, how do you get change? You create a bill, right?
Sure.
Okay.
No
so
Moon.
Would you,
Yeah,
no Moon, no.
Through violence.
No. Okay, so you get it through a bill in the United States of America, at least. Okay. How do you accomplish getting a bill passed?
You win seats in Congress and the Senate, and
Politically,
presidency
you
helps.
win politically, like political votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I say something to the realm of Donald Trump or Mondani won because they ran decent and good campaigns, what do you think from that?
But we still have the industrial prison complex, Moon. I don't know if Kumbaya mattered.
Well, I think that to an extent, like at this point especially, I think to an extent you say you would admire a lot of the things that they did, and you'd say that's good strategy and it should be emulated.
Wait, do you
Right?
not
Or
think?
is
Do you not?
is that
Do you not think? Do you not think that we should try to emulate Donald Trump's run in 2024?
No, I don't think we should emulate like a lot of that stuff and a lot of the way that they run propaganda. No, I think instead of like this, I don't want this like if you can't beat them, join them mentality. I think we should just
Wait. I'm not talking about joining anyone.
No. Not joining their party, but joining their strategy of like
I still
lying
think
and
that Martin Luther King had
Well,
a
I don't think it's a.
larger
I see.
effect in the
See. You're
civil
looking.
rights
See.
movement.
You're. Hey, really quick. So you're thinking about them lying. I'm talking about their strategy. Their strategy was
lying is a part of their
media.
strategy.
No, well, I agree with you, but that's not the point I'm talking about. I'm talking about like social media. I'm talking about podcasting, getting rid of the old school media interviews. Still do them, but I was saying this fucking 9 months ago when we lost, and you guys fucking shit on me for it. Funny enough.
What were you saying?
And we literally saw a leftist socialist Democrat, okay? Democrat, socialist Democrat, whatever the fuck he says he is. I don't really care about any of that.
Talking about Bernie, right?
No, he's even more left than Bernie. He wants like whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Talking about the Zoran.
Mamdani, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mamdani.
The Zoran.
What he did was the Zoran, yes. He ran a very Trump-like campaign where it was social media blast, shorts, saying what you want to do, bullshit. Hey, look at this thing. This is great food. How much does it cost for you to fucking have the? Or how much do you charge for this? $10. How much did you charge for it 5 years ago? $8. You know what? This tastes like $10, but you should be selling it for $8, and I'm gonna make it $8. Very Trump-like fucking campaign is what he did. Okay, this is what the Democrats need to do. This is where we need to go as a party. And if we don't do this at a party, we're going to get a bunch of fucking leftists that are going to do this in the party. And I'll tell you right now, I'm no fucking socialist. Okay, I'm a capitalist to my fucking bones, dude. All right. Who knows? Maybe this will be a split of a 3-party. But what I'm saying is that we need to run a Trump-like Mamdani-like, Zoran-like campaign, or we're going to lose every time.
I don't think that's a Trump-like
And if
campaign.
that makes me think, hold on. And Hammer, if that makes you think that I give Trump too much credit, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
You absolutely are. And I agree with Hammer if that's the case.
Wait, how?
Because that's not a Trump-like campaign. Okay. That's a modernized campaign.
What did Trump run on this last campaign?
He ran on hatred. He ran on grievances.
No, he ran on prices. He ran on no new wars because Ukraine and Israel were happening. He ran on the quote unquote American jobs with the immigrants. He ran on your pockets are hurting too much. Remember when your pockets were in 2019? Well, let's not talk about COVID, but in 2019, that's the thing I'm going to bring back to you. That's what he ran on. He didn't run on bigotry. We're seeing bigotry throughout his entire fucking presidency. I agree with you.
Are you blind or are you just like not acknowledging the nuance of what was being said in the process of all of that?
Wait, hold on. I didn't vote for Trump.
No, what I'm saying is if you're talking about immigrants being an issue, that's fucking grievance and racism.
Wait, hold on. I don't believe him. We have to
whether you believe him or not.
I don't believe him.
Zoran was not running on grievance politics. He was running on kitchen table issues. I feel you on that. Trump was trying to act like he's running on kitchen table issues, but masking the grievance politics and the racism with the kitchen table issues.
Yeah, the problem here is that I agree with you and we agree with each other here, but the problem is that the person that doesn't pay attention to politics doesn't realize this. And the Democrats are losing on this type of fucking reach, losing on the information battle or the fighting battle, the marketing battle, whatever you want to call the battle is, we're losing here. Because at the end of the day, yes, that is true. But guess what? Guess who's talking about it? We have Donald Trump running on, or did run on, I'm going to make your shit fucking shit cheaper, pockets bigger, okay? Kamala, I thought personally, was doing the exact same thing, but it didn't hit harder because the problem is that she was in the administration with Biden. Inflation was really bad. Even though the economy was doing fine, people were still pissed off that their fucking gas was fucking $3.75 because that shit's right in their goddamn face. And then someone brought up eggs one time 6 months before the goddamn election because we had a fucking goddamn chicken flu or whatever bullshit. That's the only reason why that went higher, but it doesn't matter. They capitalize on this shit. And we don't. We're just bad at it. We need to run this. We need to do this. We do need to have a little bit of fucking leftist propaganda. I agree. I disagree with that, Hammer. I'm just thinking about that. I disagree. We do need to have some fucking leftist propaganda or liberal propaganda because guess what? We have leftist propaganda. Look at Mamdani. He's talking about rent freezes. He's talking about fucking government ran grocery stores. Is this not leftist propaganda about how this is going to make shit better for people? It's the opposite.
No, it's not the same.
No,
I don't think this is the same. So, okay, so you gave examples of like, here's what Trump ran on, and my issue is different from Lethe. Lethe says, "Oh, he ran on racism. That's his strategy." My problem is that I think he ran on dishonesty. I think that like, and not just Trump, but like the Trumpist social media like apparatus runs largely on dishonesty and misinformation, right?
I don't disagree
and that's the kind of thing.
This is not a Republican thing. This is not a Republican problem. This is a Democrat problem. I don't know why we're bringing this example up.
What? Wait.
Because if they're just straight out lying like this and doing crazy fucking propaganda, the Democrats should be better enough party to be able to call that shit out, show them examples why they're lying about it, and fucking move on and call them fucking fake news.
And that's what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
The social media engine wasn't going to allow for that.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem is that like because and here's where we disagree is like part of the problem is that the American public is kind of stupid, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes,
right.
True. Wait, hold on. Again, this is a Democrat problem, not a Republican problem. We suck at talking to laymen. This is my point exactly what I'm talking about here. It's not the American voters' problem. Okay, hey, hold on. You want to know what? You want to know something? Hey, Hammer, let me ask you this. Would you restrict voting to the layman people?
No.
Then why are you even bringing this example up then? Because what you're sounding like is
Because-
that we shouldn't allow American people to vote because they're retarded.
No, not that we shouldn't allow them to vote, but we shouldn't accept them as they are. Like we should ask the American public to be a little bit better than like
Okay, who cares?
rejecting
It's
truth
America. Guess
and
what?
only
It's America.
accepting
I don't
lies.
need to be better. I don't need to be better. Fuck you, Democrat. Fuck you, liberal. Who cares? What are you talking about here?
I mean,
We need to be better at talking to the
lost.
layman. Yeah, I agree with you. We are lost as a party. We're losing. We're losing and losing and losing. We'll see what happens in the midterms. I think it will be good for the Democrats, because Trump's not on the ticket. Notoriously, it's gone bad.
Are you sure?
I don't know what's going to happen in 2028, because people aren't Trump. He is he is a political anomaly, and he'll go down in history for it. But in general, I think you have this all mixed up here, because all I'm hearing from you, Hammer, is the fact that Democrats aren't good at getting to the layman. That's all I'm hearing from you. But somehow you're still blaming the Republicans for that.
Well, okay. Number one, just because it worked doesn't mean that it's like okay. Like, yeah, you can get like a lot from people by lying to them. Doesn't make that like morally justifiable. So yeah, of course I'm going to condemn them still, even though it works. And number two, I'm also condemning the people because they shouldn't be falling for it. Like we should expect, like I said, we should expect more from these people. And I get like, yeah, there are certain things you can do. Like you can maybe use less big words. You can do a lot less explanation. You can use a lot more like appealing. You can use a lot of appealing and direct language while still being honest. But like it's still limited because you're held back by honesty, and just being able to lie to people who are never going to fact check you is
I'm not
so
saying
much,
about lying.
is
Wait,
so
hold
much
on,
more
hold on.
effective.
Again, I don't know why you keep saying lying. What the Democrats should be doing is calling out the lies in a correct way so that the layman can understand and look at that party and say they're fucking bad. And they're not doing that.
Fact checking is really difficult. Fact checking in a way that's like gonna like come off in the
Wait,
in that
fact
way
check.
is
Okay,
so difficult.
no new wars. No new wars. Where was the Democrats talking about, us allowing Saudi Arabia with Yemen? We left the Kurds so that the Russians came in there and fucking killed them and fucking stole their goddamn equipment. By the way, American equipment. We ended up bombing Soleimani, almost went to war with Iran. The only reason why we didn't fucking go to war with Iran is because that happened like January 3rd or some shit of 2020, and COVID happened fucking 2 weeks later, and he also bombed our fucking bases. Okay, so when someone says no new wars, where are the Democrats calling this shit out to his fucking face when he says that and says, "Oh, you say new wars? Why aren't you telling me about this?" That's not lying. That's calling the lie out, and that's what the Democrats need to be doing, and they're not doing that.
Yeah, how often wait? I know there was the debates with Biden and Trump, and again, yeah, there were some issues. Although Biden at the time was trying to call out Trump for
There
his
were
lies.
some
But
issues. No,
other than
that
that
was probably one of the worst.
Oh man, that was I laugh.
It was rough.
All you could do is
It was
drink and
rough.
laugh at the end of that. I was streaming that too, and I was like, man, that was really bad for Biden. I even think I'm on stream. I said that was so bad for Biden, he lost the election. I actually think I said that
Oh,
during my
goddamn.
stream.
It's rough. It's rough. But like honestly, how often do you get a chance to like call out directly conservatives and Trump? Like they mostly stay to their own. So what your options are is to go on CNN and be like, let's fact check Trump. There was a war here, there was a war here. And you can say it in relatively simple terms, but like again, you're just kind of like going to your Democratic
You're
platforms and
wrong.
fact-checking.
No. Oh my God, dude, we're completely wrong here. No, you want to know what you do? You fucking have AOC who has your fucking back, like she had her back with Kamala, and they make a fucking goddamn TikTok short or some fucking YouTube short talking about how the no New York wars is a lie and point to it and make some bullshit fucking TikTok about it, and then call them out, throw that shit on X2, and then under X say at Grok, is this true? And then have them say, yes, this is true. All the things they said is correct. Boom. This is just fucking.
No,
AOC
I agree
is
with you
fake
here.
Bronx. I don't care about
I
that.
agree with you.
She's
here,
still
Paul.
hot. Who cares?
This is pretty much where I agree with you. They should have pushed the social media harder. They should have focused more on how to use the social media in their advantage or to their advantage, I think this was one of the major failings. I think there's a lot more energy going on in the Democrat Party than what was led on by social media.
I think this is why I keep bringing up Mama Donnie or Mom.
It's okay,
Donnie.
It's
Fuck,
okay.
man, dude.
You're
I'm
out of
not
practice.
racist, okay?
You're out of practice.
I'm not
we'll let it
racist.
slide.
I had one of my good friends was Indian, okay? All right?
Oh,
I still remember
no.
their old... I'm just kidding.
I'm
I have a
starting to
black
think you're
friend
the
too, by the
reason
way,
why
Leafy, okay?
Zephyr wasn't
I
able
have a
to
black
speak
friend
in
too,
here.
all right? All right, I have a black friend
Silencing
too.
Indian voices.
And I don't even remember what I was going to say because it was so racist what you were just talking about, Leafy. Oh, so Mom Donnie, okay, ran a campaign that the Democrats need to. I don't give a fuck if he's a socialist, a Democrat socialist. They need to get with his team. They need to see what he did. They need to go in and they need to actually figure out the strategy that they did. Because at the end of the day, he's probably not going to be able to do much in New York City. He has a lot of state legislator he has to get through. That doesn't matter. That's just leftist for you. And they're going to hate him in like fucking 6 months after he's actually brought in after. Well, if he wins in November, I should say. I'm not
racist.
I think we're going to see a wake up of the
mispronounce
Democratic
only
Party.
brown people's names. True,
dude. Lether.
We can. You want to get into it?
I'm not racist, but stop, dude. I know Rampage Paul is the most unracist. I don't know. I've been pissed. I haven't been streaming, so I'm pissed. I'm very disappointed in the Democratic Party
right now. You want to get this stuff
now,
off your chest, and you do realize that even when they tried, and I think it was too little too late, so I don't really care too much about it, but when they tried to get on Joe Rogan, basically they ghosted her.
Yeah, I saw that reporting. Basically, Rogan kind of lied, but then the actual reporting came out. It was kind of like a back and forth thing, and she was trying to get on, but then pretty scummy by Joe Rogan, my personal opinion. But I'm not a big fan. I'm not a fan of. I haven't been a fan of Joe Rogan since like 2018.
Yeah,
so,
but he was also very effective. So, and still is effective.
He's the number one podcaster in the world. Yeah, he's the number one podcaster in the world. No one bigger.
So to act like that wouldn't have been important is kind of hard to say.
We missed Trivia Tuesdays. I was thinking about Trivia Tuesdays, man.
Hey, we can always do Trivia Tuesdays. You don't have to stream the whole thing out. You can do it here. Or you can just start streaming again after you give me that Twitter password and you let me do what I'm going to do to Elon, and then we can call it a day.
If you get me fired, I would forgive you for what it's worth.
Hey.
All right, Hammer, any last words for me? I got to go, buddy. You want to tell me I'm racist or something? Or I like Trump?
Yeah. I think that you need to maybe speak less and listen to the experiences of people of color more.
True, dude. That's what I need to do. Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing. We all might disagree on these things, but what's really important at the end of the day is that we're talking about them.
Okay.
I'll be right back. I got to go
Anything
push a
else,
button.
Mom?
All right. I got to go make some food. Have a good night, Paul. Nice talking to you.
All right. Hey, love you, buddy. Love you. Bye. All right.
Love
I'll stay. Love you too. I'll stay for you, Lethy, until you get back. AMA, dude. Ask me anything you want. As a white person whose likeness from the systematic racism for blacks, indigenous people, people of color since its founding, I have no opinions on this matter and will continue to be silent and learn so one day I may... Yeah, dude, exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing the entire time. Just trying to learn. By the way, Nair, I've been liking Nair Automotive or whatever the fuck it's called. Not as a white person. Oh, yes. How do you even say? I don't even know how to say it. Automata, Nair Automata. However you say this fucking thing. I've been fucking with this game, which is old. I actually, dude, guys, they have so many games on Steam for so fucking little. Dude, I bought Portal for $2. Let's go. But
Okay, I'm back. Near Automata.
Near Automata, is that how you say it?
Yep. No, Portal's biz. Like that's
Um,
something you should be streaming. Like just run
bro,
run a stream where you just play Portal with someone that, decides
all
to murder
sounds
you.
sad. I'm actually very happy right now, actually, in my life, which is good. Funny enough. Yeah, dude, Portal's on sale at Steam right now for $2.
And that is the plan, Moon. I'm gonna make him seem less racist by making him more racist.
I ended up buying. This is what I bought. So I ended up buying God of War. That's on sale right now for like $20. Detroit Become Human. That's on sale right now for like $9. Jedi Fallen Soldiers or Jedi Fallen Order. That was like $8 or something. Dig. Shout out to Nair. Download that. That was free.
I mean, I swear, Nair is probably the most knowledgeable when it comes down to game hookups and decent games. He threw up SteamWorld Dig was up for free. I wouldn't have known.
Oh, this Days Gone is 50% off. I was saying that game is super good.
That looks super awkward, Nair. Me as Liver King. Paul definitely fits a bit more.
Yeah, I know. I can pirate them.
I feel
I
like
just
I'm
don't
an
choose to do
upgrade.
that because I make enough money to buy them, and I feel bad for stealing them.
Oh.
No.
Why didn't you like Sinners?
Oh my god. Well, because I'm racist. What are we talking about?
Well,
here?
yeah, we already knew that, but was there something else?
Dude, okay, I think it was because it was so overhyped. I think that was so I gave it a 7 out of 10. So I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5 if it was my letterbox is what I gave it. I don't know.
The
I thought
music
like the
was
story
dope.
was
The rotoscope.
that was the best part of the hey, by
filming
the
was
way, that was the
amazing.
best part of the movie was that Robert Johnson blues era, dude. That shit was good as fuck. But I thought the music was fantastic. I don't know. I thought like for instance like the whole story build up about them being like ex Al Capone people from Chicago coming back down to Georgia or Mississippi, wherever the hell it was. And I thought that was like a cool story, and then it kind of just gets like muted out by the whole vampires come out of nowhere to take down the racist or the bar. But the racists were going to do that originally. I don't know, dude. I thought it was so good in the beginning, and I
The
was loving it. And it
vampires
just
were
like
assimilating culture, dude. You didn't get that?
What are the vampires? White people?
No, not necessarily. They're the
I'm just
other
kidding, I'm
portion. But they also hated the racists, but they were also doing like the benign racism thing and trying to assimilate while not appreciating the culture.
Yeah. Okay. Makes me hate it even more that now that you say that.
Which is why when the vampires were like looking into the bar, they could see like all the different spirits, which were all the different cultural representations that the music was, and they were trying to assimilate it for themselves.
I didn't realize. So okay, so that was I didn't think that was the vampires. I thought that was him just feeling the fucking vibe, baby.
No, that was like part of the vampire sense. What's good, Testy? Good to see you. We got Paul here.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Tessie.
And
Damn. Oh,
another
wait.
really interesting thing was how they showed the way Asian culture was back in that time during the segregation, because there was actually like Chinese stores that had two different stores on different sides of the street, and
Yep.
one would serve everybody else and one would serve black people. And they were like the intermediaries.
I
in
just
the
thought it was.
communities.
Oh, and also another thing too. I was very disappointed on like in Sinners 2. Like if you're gonna go like a whole vampire-esque thing, totally fine. Whatever. You're the creator. You're the artist. You make the movie. I watch it. I also thought it was super fucking bad where it's just like, okay, shit, they're vampires, and then like 3 minutes later they're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna open this door and we're gonna fucking fight them. And then like they fought them, and that lasted like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't want to fight.
I don't know,
The
dude.
Asian
I thought it
chick
was.
let them in.
Well, they did. Well, no. The Asian chick didn't let them in. They said don't do that shit. And then they said no, we're gonna do this. And then they all got their fucking guns and they all got ready to like, all right, open the doors. And they opened the doors. And I'm just like, bruh, wait for the morning. What are we talking about here, dude? You know?
Yeah, no, they tried to stop the Asian chick and she literally screamed, "Come on in, motherfuckers." And then they're just like, fuck, we have to fight.
I don't know, dude. I thought it was super fucking mid as well. It got a C. It passed. Would I recommend it? Probably. It's a good movie. It's a little too long too. And also, you want to know what? Michael B. Jordan's a good-looking guy. I think we can all agree with that. And having two of them in a movie, everyone likes that. Okay. The ending. By the way, this is spoilers. Everybody that's in chat, if you haven't seen this fucking movie, the ending was god awful with fucking Buddy Guy in that fucking bar, and then they come in later. And they're like, yeah, I promised that I would let you live your life. We just want to let you know that we're basically still here. And also, God, it was so bad, dude. It's so bad,
You had to spoil it. It's Paul.
Oh my
You know
God.
how this goes. And I thought that scene was amazing. And I wouldn't have changed it.
Wait, no way. You thought that was amazing. Where he's like, hey, I listened to my brother that died fucking 60 goddamn years ago or whatever the hell it was. And I did stay away from you, but now I'm going to come out of nowhere and I'm going to say, hey, how are you? And then he goes, by the way, that was the best day of my life. What about you? And then he goes, that was the last time I saw the sun. I'm like, okay, this shit
Paul's
is
hating on
trash,
sinners
dude.
'cause,
This shit's trash, dude. Paul, were you glazing the Muslim socialists? Yeah, I was, actually. Yes.
He really was. He loves it. And he thinks that all Democrats should model everything they do after him and a little bit of Trump.
Campaign-wise. Spoilers. Guys, I'm saving you 2 hours and 40 minutes. Okay? You want to know what movie I did just watch, though?
Something worse?
I did just watch 28 years later. Which I won't be spoiling that because that's... Which I won't be spoiling that because that's still in the movie theaters, so I will not be spoiling that. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. I gave that a 7 out of... It was better than Sinners, I thought. So it was like a 7.5 out of 10.
So
you seen the other two movies,
Bosa
Hammer?
put Paul back in the basement.
I didn't hear the movies you were talking about before. I've only watched 28 Days Later, and I thought that was a very good movie. I haven't seen the other two though.
28 Days Later is better than 28 Weeks Later, in my personal opinion. Actually, 28 Days Later is probably the best one out of the three. But I thought 28 Years Later was, if you like that franchise or whatever, you're watching it and you enjoyed it, I thought it was pretty good, personally.
I think that... So, from what I've seen of 28 Days Later, I feel like it didn't really call for sequels. Does that make sense?
Well, you don't really need to watch them in order because they're so far apart, like not just movie-wise, but also days-wise in that universe. It's never the same people.
Yeah, I get that. It's just... I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'll watch the other ones and see if I still feel the same way. But it's like...
I think they're the best zombie-esque universe movies, personally.
Oh, they're definitely terrifying.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, actually the story in general.
The fucking... Okay, I think that, like, 28 Days Later, it hits hard because it's like... It just, I don't know, there's something, it's about, like, the cinematography and directing that, like, they know how to fucking spook the hell out of you. The way a lot of, like, zombie movies don't, right? And I think the thing is in that movie, the zombies will always fuck you up, and you don't want to get anywhere near them. If the zombies are around, you get the fuck out of there, and you don't ever want to even try.
Well, no,
you don't even
they're
want to
hyper
try
zombies.
fucking with them.
Like, there's a sense of
they're hyper zombies. Yeah.
you're going to lose. Versus like the trudging zombies where you can probably get away, you can probably outsmart them. No, these things are coming breakneck speed right at you. They can climb over shit. They can get to you. Like, there's no way around it. So there's a different sense
not
of
only that, I think that I think that 28 Days Later, and the whole series in general, does a really good job of like bringing in the human aspect of everything. Where like in 28 Days Later, which by the way, spoiler alert here, this was 2002, okay, or whatever the hell, 2003. That movie was, yes, it was about the zombies, but it was more about like human psychology, where like at the end of that movie you find out like they think they're at like a military base, but these people were acting as if they were military, and they're going to make it like make these people into like baby makers, sex slaves, and then they have to escape that. So it like turns into like what humans turn into as well, not only just the zombies as humans into zombies. It does turn them metaphorically into zombies because they're turning into like bloodthirsty fucking creatures in a weird way. And that's like what that first movie did, you know? The second movie is all about like I won't spoil this, Hammer, because you haven't seen it, but like the whole second movie is about like, hey, we think we found like a cure, and it's all about like them in a lab and like humans kind of like getting close to being able to, I don't know, it's like they bring in not just the zombie aspect, they bring in the human aspect too,
The
of
true
psychology. It's
zombies,
really good.
man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, okay? Not to be a dick, Paul, but that's literally every single zombie movie that has ever been made, unless they're like absolute
Which ones
garbage.
besides
I'm pretty sure
besides Walking Dead? I guess Last of
So
Us 2 is
there's
in a weird way the same way. But
yeah, Last of
Us is
Us,
a very good.
Walking Dead,
Last of Us is a very. What about Resident Evil?
Resident Evil. I mean, it's more about like more societal, like these big corporations, because they all have all these criticism for Umbrella Corps, I think it's called, and how military experimentation or government experimentation, how evil that is.
Well, no,
I
I
Am
think
Legend was foul,
okay.
and it kind of like the way they changed
so
the
so the
storyline kind of ruined it.
So the end.
I know there's
so
a
the
billion
end.
different.
So wait, I disagree. Wait, hold on. I disagree with you here because a lot of these movies like think that there's going to be like a type of end, and in like the first 28 Days Later movie, it had nothing to do about finding a cure and like or anything like that. It had to deal with how humans started manipulating other humans, and they literally were going to make these people into sex fucking slaves, and they were going to kill all the fucking men. It turned away from the zombies completely in that movie. It wasn't even about. It's more about like actual survival of how humans are more deadly in a weird way than the actual zombies were at that
That's
point.
pretty
in that
much
movie,
how
because society changes.
all of zombiedom works. Like that's kind of what's been said.
Yeah, Rising Dead.
Eventually,
Rising
you
Dead did
figure
that
out
too.
how to
never seen
work
that
around
movie.
the zombies, and then it just becomes humans fucking over other humans to basically get their own little harems going. So, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well,
This
hey,
is kind
I'm
of
d-
how it devolves every damn time.
I mean,
Of
it's
course
not
we
that
were the
that's
true
like not a
monsters.
good thing.
That was
It
the
is
point
like
of I Am Legend.
Actually, true, Dusty. Actually, maybe I am the fucking bad one here. Perhaps we were all the true monsters all along.
Like the whole thing of I Am
I'm not
Legend
saying
was
that's
they
a
were the
bad
next
thing,
step
but
in
like,
evolution.
that's like pretty common among the genre.
Well, to be fair,
It's a trope.
28 Days Later is an awesome fucking movie. So to be fair, so fuck
It
you
is,
guys,
of course.
alright?
I can't
Yeah.
trust your judgment for shit.
No, I'm not
tonight.
saying it's bad.
Read the book. I didn't realize
But
there
my
was a book
favorite
for I Am Legend.
Yeah, there's a book.
My favorite part of
And there's like 3 movies.
My favorite part of bro, there's like a book for everything.
How
is
many
like
of the movies
actually a
have you
book.
watched,
World
Paul?
War Z is the fucking book.
How many of the movies have I watched?
Based on I Am Legend.
I've seen I Am Legend.
So you haven't seen the Omega Man, you haven't seen The Last Man on Earth?
Nope,
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah,
I have not.
I haven't
Is
seen
I Am
any of
Legend the
these.
last movie?
Yeah, that was the most recent one.
All right, Tessie, you got it. Okay, so there's a whole.
One of them had Vincent Price in it.
I saw that. All right, I gotta go to bed. I love you all.
Go to sleep, Paul.
Okay, have a
Good
good
night, my
night.
dude. Thanks for coming.
I'm gonna go
through.
get some food. Okay.
And you enjoy your meal, and we're gonna watch this man eat bull testicles.
Okay, I might or might not be back later. I'm gonna make plans for tonight. But it was nice talking to you, Lethe. Bye.
Peace. All right, so back to the Liver King saga.
But after all that,
That was a long segue.
we're just gonna make people pay that deserve it. Not me, really, mainly, or for.
His chick just.
I'll just say who they are.
Thought you said you wouldn't stream anymore. We got Fister in here, but he's very quiet. Kind of like Zephyr, but I don't know what happened.
Well, I was driving, and
So
then
as
he
you
was
guys know
talking.
by
They were
now,
both talking
the
a lot.
liver
Like there wasn't
bitch,
much room to
that
get
crazy
words in.
little fucker piece of shit, he went on a rampage like a maniac,
And so I just finally got settled.
right? Threatening the life of Joe Rogan.
We're gonna make Joe Rogan pay big.
But I don't know why
one
did
of
no
us,
one mentioned
both of
Twitter
us.
files.
Landing.
There's a whole legion of people on Twitter who believe a lot of bullshit now because of Twitter.
Well, I was kind of getting into that, but Paul was like trying to act like all that was debunked because they stopped certain projects when, like, you literally had the tenant media thing go on, the Twitter files, like Joe Rogan himself. All of this has been a part of the media engine that definitely helped Trump out. So I don't know.
And something that was kind of missed because you guys both were saying two things that Trump campaigned with. But I think what you guys missed is Trump will literally say anything as long as he thinks he can get a win out of it, right? He'll say like it's wet and dry. You know, as long as like 5 people here are convinced about the being wet and 5 people are convinced about being dry.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say fact checking, the media itself holding him to account. There's a lot of things that needed to be done, and they needed to run like full like social media campaigns showing every time Trump contradicts himself and lies. Like these are things that should have been done.
You can't. Then it just seems like you're piling up. No, it just seems like you're piling up, right? You have to only get the big things, right? But it becomes so difficult. Like people still believe Twitter files was a thing.
I mean, we're still where we are, no matter how you run it at this point. So saying that we need to run a campaign like Trump does is just kind of bonkers to me, which is where I disagree with Paul. But then I also agreed with him that Democrats need to utilize the social media better and definitely run a more modern campaign.
Yeah, I think everyone can agree on that.
So I think that was where we didn't truly miss each other in the conversation. I mean, we'll see. We will see, but if the pass is any representative is not until things get really, really bad that all of a sudden a Democrat will be back in office or a socialist at this point. Let's see what happens. Like I'm sitting here just going whatever happens at this point.
And then I somewhat agree a little bit with like the COVID thing, except they also use COVID as a fear mongering thing to like they're trying to lock you away. They're making you wear
Whatever
masks.
MTG is.
All that stuff.
I mean,
so
was
while COVID was an L for him, he also manipulated people with it.
I mean, that was, yeah, it kind of went both ways for him. Is at one, like, for one thing, he couldn't claim the benefit of getting the vaccine out, but then he could also basically like do mixed messaging and say masks are bad and they're trying to control you kind of shit. So it was going to work out either way. But again, that just comes down to how you run your media. And see, that was a funny thing because, like, where I work, they basically said you either get the shot or you test. And people were so in their head about the lose your livelihood portion of it, they would rather just sue than just get a test. And on top of that, we were getting telework and things like that to where most offices went hybrid anyway. So it was kind of crazy. Yeah, I will say for the medical industry, that shouldn't even have been a question. Like you get every vaccine no matter what anyway when you're in the medical industry. So that was kind of a losing fight for military and medical. But for most other public sector jobs, it shouldn't even have been a thing. Yeah, they're still trying to put that genie back in the bottle, and they can't get people back in the office because if you don't offer hybrid work, people aren't trying to work for you. So, like, people should be pretty happy about the way that worked out. Fewer people are sick. I mean, if they would have brought up the numbers of the amount of people that die of the flu, as well as die of COVID, as well as the common colds, like all these things could have been shown as a net benefit for the way we were restructuring society around disease prevention. I mean, in most Asian countries, they already wore masks anyway before this happened, just for the sake of not spreading diseases. So, I mean, there are a lot of things about you that should be studied, Nair. I think we could learn a great deal. We could move forward as a species.
His dumbass in jail. Now there's people
back
that
to the
think
Liver King.
it's all an empty threat. He's not gonna do anything. He's not capable of doing anything, right? But no, I know the whole story behind the scenes. This asshole was at the Liver Ranch with all his employees,
It was a mix of both.
obsessing over Joe Rogan for years. People are thinking this is just a stunt for social media. Empty words. He's not gonna do anything, right?
Come on,
But they
now you
don't
gotta
know
do your
what's
part
in
for
the mind
humanity.
of this man, or what's not left of his mind, because I know what he's been doing.
I'm still wondering what
Copious
happened to
amount
Zephyr.
of
He just
drugs,
dipped
illegal
altogether.
drugs that he's been putting into his system, experimenting with unapproved
All right, I have a pair of
humans,
pimp shoes to
medical
sell if anyone wants
devices
some.
that alter the fucking mind. This asshole
what size are
has
they?
been doing so many things that have fucked up
I
his
think
mind.
your feet are too large.
Has
They're like
caused
12, but
this
they're like
behavior
thin.
that we're seeing
Yeah, that's
now.
not gonna work
That's
for me.
probably why he's been
Oh, yeah,
daydreaming
I
all
forgot.
day and night about my balls
He's
in his mouth.
very devout.
Saying they're fine like a sharmuta would do.
Johnny Bravo, and there's like a flying balls like him,
And now, remember that box I showed you that he was carrying around with him to go to Austin, Texas, with Joe
Terrifying.
Rogan's face on it like a sick fuck? Do you guys know what was in that box? A gun and
Straight up had an
cash. Now
axe,
tell
a
me
gun,
what
and
he
some
was up to, that
cash.
sick fuck. So now let me explain.
He
the
was gonna
situation.
Luigi Joe
It
Rogan.
seems this asshole has a problem with everyone he thinks fucked up his career. Instead of looking himself in the mirror and say, hey, look, I look like an asshole, he wants to blame everybody.
Oh, okay. So, Testy, you weren't here earlier. What parts do you need me to fill you in on? Okay, so Liver King was a dude that started off like kind of a bodybuilder, and then he became like a kind of like a self-help fitness guru that started doing this thing called the ancient tenets, where he would tell people to sleep on the ground and, you know, be outdoors and eat innards of animals and bull testicles and shit, and you would get jacked. And he was constantly asked whether he was on steroids or not. And eventually this dude named Derek More, going by More Plates, More Dates, got his blood work leaked to him and leaked that to the fitness community and exposed him for being on steroids. And then eventually, after lying for long periods of time, and I'm going to say Liver King's sanity was already like on a pretty good one. He got off gear for the most part. Like, I'm going to say he lowered his dosages, admitted he was on steroids, but then eventually got back on steroids again. And he started getting in his own head, and I'm guessing the testosterone got to him, and he's losing his mind, and he decided he wants to take out Joe Rogan and Derek More Plates, More Dates. So there you go. That's the rundown of what you missed in the early part of the stream. And then I still got to get to Diddy.
So he has an agenda.
Don't act like I'm
in
done.
his sick mind, don't forget it's drug induced, to make everybody who he thinks did him wrong make them pay. And he starts off by going after the producers and the directors of the Liver King documentary on Netflix. He's even going after their religion, the asshole.
then we're gonna force people to fucking pay.
I mean, Netflix
Joe
does suck.
fucking
They are
Snowman,
forcing people to pay.
You'll pay. Your boss, Sheldon, the other fake Jew, he's gonna pay.
Oh, there's some
Normal man who
anti-Semitism
tried to
in here
attempt to
too.
direct a lie.
Not
that
a
he
good
called
look.
The untold truth about a man that knows the truth, that's articulate enough to say, "Hey, you fake Jews, you're actually the fake ones."
The fuck?
Not you fake Jews. What you're trying to do is be greedy and slime balls and put more fucking cash in your pocket out of not principle. Fake Jews do that. They wear hats. They call themselves Sheldon, and Just neural
What the
meth.
fuck?
That's what you guys did.
Then,
Okay, out of all the nonsense I heard that dude spouting, I never heard him being like straight up anti-Semitic. But then for some reason, whenever people have an issue with the media engine, they become super anti-Semitic. And I can't wrap my head around it.
of course, the main one is Joe Rogan because he feels like he never put him on his
If
podcast.
he calls Joe Rogan
did him
Jewish,
wrong,
I'd
right? Then he
fucking
goes
quit.
after Vigorous Steve, Derek, and then me because I did all those exposed videos on him. And now he's
Exactly. I
want to
know what that pipeline is. From normal to I hate the media to the Jews.
She said I'm a filthy
Like, how you
piece
do
of
this?
shit, stealing my fucking lines, that sharmuta.
And then after that, after all that,
it is a sickness.
It's gonna make people pay that deserve it. Not many, 3 of them mainly, or 4. I'll just say who they are. Primarily the fake Jews that I've already said.
He looks unwell.
Derek Betterman, soon to be. That's what he's going to be. Never.
By all
barbarian
means, please
until he
explain,
changes to
Mo.
become a better man. Vigorous. I don't even know his last name. Derek, I don't know his last name either. He's a more plates more. Let's just disrespect the whole fucking gender. The whole gender. We're gonna make that guy pay. We're gonna make
His face is almost 100% leather.
Bravado
Right.
or something. That guy who claims to be an
His
investigative
eyes are
reporter,
squintier than
he
mine
tried
are.
to pick a fight with my queen. And so the world can make him pay whatever they think that is. But y'all know what he did. An eye for an eye. Don't go any further than that. We don't need to break his fucking knees just because you can.
Now, I said before,
wow,
this guy's actually sick in the head.
He is straight
because
up.
He's been on drugs.
The Book of
major
Eli
drugs,
level.
Okay. Then, the major one. You remember, I don't know if you remember, because it was a
appreciate
long
that.
time ago, in the 40s and 50s, they used to do these experiments on kids who had autism or other types of problems, right? They used to have these shock therapy
Autism is red dye
machines that they
40.
would
We all
plug
know
to their
that.
heads
RFK
and shock
told
the
us so.
shit out of them, thinking that they can make them better, right? Well, this asshole hired a private sharmuta nurse to come to his house.
What
a
is this word he
sharmuta
keeps
would, right?
using? I don't know
To
if it
shock
means what
the
he thinks
shit
it
out of
means.
him. So besides all those drugs he's been putting in his system, he's doing that. So he's all fucked up in the head, and that's why we see his behavior online like this.
He's definitely
You
all
can't
fucked
buy
up
this
in the
kind of
head.
stuff. They're serial numbers, not replicatable.
How do you have that much money and end up that down bad?
Presidents like that, Joe Rogan. That's how we do it in Texas, you know. That's real, man, kind of stuff. We're coming to Austin.
Bro, it's
We're about to
tweaking.
leave. Aren't we, boy? Yeah.
Forget about
It's
it.
Monday. It's
I'm guessing that's what a sharmuta is.
8 o'clock-ish. And we're coming. And so we'll see you soon. Real tension.
Just a note, if you're going to go on a public vendetta, well, if you're going to go on a vendetta against somebody, you don't throw it on social media where people can just pull up what your plans are. I'm not trying to give anybody advice on how to get things like this done, but I'm going to say this is probably in the top 10 worst ways to handle it. Yeah, I don't know what that word means, Moon. I could look it up, but I don't think I want to. I think the mystery of it all makes it more intriguing.
I have with you. Real fucking beef. Yeah. Real beef. It's a real
Oh,
fucking
jeez.
Come
Okay, that does make it
if I
funnier.
you want to see just a little. I don't do that. I might watch that. Oh, I don't want. I wish if I can live stream, that's what we'll do. from
Bro,
now
you're
on.
showing the
We're
arsenal.
getting in the family cars now, unraveling ourselves.
This 1 pound, lock it down.
Now,
He's got a
because
fleet going.
he's fucked up in the mind and he thinks all of us need to pay, right? I'm going to show you here on the screen something we missed. Look at that fucked up box, okay? I'm going to slow down this footage after I play it one time. Now look at it slowed down and look closely what's in that fucking box. It's a gun.
He had the stick.
On top of cash, like he thinks he's in the fucking mob. I don't know what he was going to do with this fucking cash. But he took
I'm saying
that
his
box,
friends were not his friends.
He says it's a present, a gift for Joe Rogan, and he takes it with him to Austin,
Just
Texas,
like
while
Diddy,
he's in the
which
fucking
is
hotel.
the theme of this evening.
Family
There needs to be
car,
people in your life that can
boys,
tell
my
you
queen,
no, and you
my
listen to
dogs,
them.
We come
Otherwise, you're
bearing
going to end up going down a
gifts,
bad
gifts,
path.
gifts for those that deserve it. See you here in a minute. That's how we do in Texas. Welcome to Texas, Joe Rogan. Oh, you forgot?
Gotta have people that love you and will tell you
God, I was
no.
coming to you. Oh, I am coming to you.
Now, the reason, remember I was saying in my last video, I said the SWAT team was out there all day for many hours. Because they were
it's the
worried
police that are
this guy
saying
was
no
fucked
now.
up in the head on drugs. They knew he had that gun, and I'm not confirming this, that he had even more guns and weapons in there. They wanted to make
Diddy's
sure the
lawyers are
scene
saying
wasn't
no
going to turn
contest,
worse
defense
before they
rests.
got him, convinced him, right, like a scene out of the movie, to get his ass outside so they could take him to fucking jail. Now, how do I know all this shit, right? Well, when this was all going down, I had communication through my sources of people that were on the scene during this whole fucking fiasco, okay? And saying that, in a future video, I'm gonna get former employees who don't work there anymore to share some of the stories so you guys can really know what happened in that sick liver bitch ranch in Texas. Because I'm telling you right now,
Oh, of course
shit
it's
that was going down over
Texas.
there,
Hey.
this fucker's probably gonna end up in a psycho ward.
Queen starts to tell me about this character, Johnny Bravado, or something. And she's like, yeah. And then she says something about Johnny Bravo. And she's like, yeah, he's responding. And I said, oh, good, that's good. And I said, you're not responding, right? And she said, yeah, I did. And I said, oh, Queens probably don't have to do that with flying balls like him. And so then Queen, I said, hey, don't respond anymore to this guy, okay? And she's like, well.
I mean, he nuked his
And I said,
own
okay,
career
just
being
read me
real.
the last, whatever you said last, whatever he said last. And
Like,
she
Derek
kinda does it,
did
kinda, and then
pretty
he
decent
tries to
number
hide
on it,
behind
but
his bad,
him lying
his really
after it was
bad.
already
He tries to
exposed nuked
justify it
himself.
with his title. He's an investigative reporter. That's what he is. So it's his job to take information that wasn't true to begin with, and it's his job. That's my job. As a real man that I am.
Probably seen
I'm a
his
real
wife
man, right? You
more
gotta respect
recently
what
than
he
we've
says.
seen
You have to respect
Gary
me. I'm a real
Eppies
man.
or whatever his name's
And
wife.
then you hide
Mama
behind
JF
your
is still
fake
missing. It's
metaphor
been
of a
2
title.
years
I'm an
now.
investigative journalist. You got to respect me. It's my job. And then I told my wife, hey, you know what you should do? You should do one last comment. You should do one last comment.
Oof.
You should tell him, since he said what his job is, it's his job to do that, not to be a man or true to his principle of man, respect maybe another man, but he did his job, right? That's real proud. He's proud of that. We're not going to parent him, so why don't you just let him know he did
This
a
video's
good
almost
job.
over. I'll play
Fist
that
bump,
right
pal.
after.
Guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like on my video.
Yeah, he was
then
on
after
a
that-
good one. Let's see what we got here. I gotta switch the source for this. Oh, can't even get it. Grab the link. Hey. I think the music helps, but that's still pretty hard. All right, so. And then the
Posted
last
threatening
this.
Joe Rogan. The wildest video from the Liver King crash out has to be the one taken right after arriving in Austin.
So many great
when he
sports
threatened
being
Joe
revealed
Rogan
to
with
me.
his dogs.
Guess what? You're dead, bitch. You're dead.
Bro,
You're dead.
why are you?
Because
That's terrorist threats.
welcome to Texas. We just got here.
Is
and,
terrorist
I'm
threats
just
legal
gonna
in
make it a
Texas?
quick one because I'm going to honor my family. I'm going to record
need to
it
ask
out this
Gibbs.
week, and then I'm going to stop recording afterwards.
Where's
so
Osiris
here,
when you need him?
boys, go ahead and sit down. Sit. Thank you for being so good. I forgot about you. Yeah, you're my best friend.
Well, you know those dogs eat well. All the raw meat they
Joe
can
Rogan,
handle.
I'd like for you to meet Doberman 1. This is Axe. You've already met him, but maybe you weren't paying attention. I'd like for my family to meet your family.
Out of all of the hours of footage posted threatening Joe Rogan,
Unhinged human being.
Right,
Oh,
you
and then
guys,
the
as you
arrest. We
probably
got to get
already
the
know,
arrest in
Liver
here.
King was arrested for making threats against Joe Rogan. After spending 24 hours in jail, he was released. But now he's walking around with an ankle monitor.
Your freedom. That's an ankle.
They tagged and bagged the Liver King.
Weight.
He went from Liver King to liver failure.
If anyone who's around us can alert us that there might be anyone with the last name Rogan around, then I'll happily go the other 200 yards.
Looking for Rogan sightings.
This thing will help me make certain. You know how good that feels on the ankle? That part where it bounces, jiggles like that? Making my ankle strong for that.
Someone spent money to remind the world that Joe Rogan is only 5'3". This must have been liver failure's idea.
Sorry, Joe.
He's crashing harder than ever.
Is Joe
Imagine
Rogan
opening your
5'3"?
hotel room door to see this going
Still
past
taller
you.
than Paul.
It's like when Tarzan went back to New York. You don't want to mess with this single mother. She doesn't need a man. She has become her own man.
Pré-treino dela. Alright, well, that covers that. On to Diddy. Breaking
Big
news.
news. Let's head to New York City now. Our breaking news. The defense has just rested their case in the federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial against Sean Diddy Combs. Joining us live from
Well,
outside
that's nightmare
the
fuel.
courthouse.
Seeing
we
this
think we may have
giant man
lost her due
crawling
to
up
a
and down the
technical
hallway.
issue. So do want to talk about what's amazing. I just want to sum up is she did a hit with us not too long ago, within the last hour and a half maybe, that the
They had to
prosecution
let
had
it
wrapped
breathe,
up.
man.
And since that time, here's what we know that we can share with you. Sean Diddy Combs did address the court to say, I'm not going to testify. And now the defense
Bill
has
said, "I ain't
rested.
testifying."
No case of actual testimony presented. They were going to read some things into the record. Still with us, criminal defense attorney, former district attorney Matthew Mangino. I almost fell out of my chair. I did understand they said we're not going to present any witnesses. I'm surprised, but that was their choice. They were going to read some things into the record, but golly, that was really quick to go to the defense is done.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me
Oh, he's
a bit,
cooked. He's been
Judge
cooked.
Ashley. I mean,
There was no
originally they had a
question
whole
about that.
list of witnesses, then they pruned that down a little bit, and then all of a sudden they're not
Diddy
going to
is
put any
definitely
evidence
cooked. They even
on
dropped
at all.
charges like,
They must be pretty confident.
this is overkill.
You know, they
We don't need to
away
back
at the
over the
witnesses
body
for
again.
the prosecution, and you know, I think they've tried to make this case more about consent than anything else. And hey, you know, Diddy's a bad guy.
I mean,
And
his
we don't
lawyers
like
cut his
Diddy,
head
and you
fucking at
probably
some
don't
point.
like Diddy, but he's not involved in racketeering. He's not involved in sex trafficking. That's not what this amounts to. So that must be their strategy.
And I do think they were smart to lean into it and even go further and say, yeah, it may have been a crime that he hit Cassie Ventura. And they admitted these are crimes. But to your point, not sex trafficking, they say, as well as the not racketeering. I want to read what Combs told the judge.
I mean, Trump
Here's
not
what
that
he had
long
to
ago
say.
was
I'm
saying he
doing
would
great,
look
Your
into
Honor.
it and
I've been
see
wanting to tell you thank
whether or
you.
not he
You're
may,
doing an
because he really
excellent
liked Diddy.
job. This is the first time I've seen these words. A little unusual, I think, for a defendant to thank the judge. And then we have Judge Submaramian saying, thank you. I appreciate it. All right.
No,
let's
extra
come
guilty?
out on that one, Matt. That seems a little unusual, but it might be keeping with the personality of Sean Diddy Combs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of strange
Homie
things
is a
during the course of this
sociopath.
trial. You know, this doesn't seem out of the norm for Diddy or other people that we see in front of the court. You know,
Like,
you're-
out of the
in
norm-
some cases,
out of the norm
you're
for
screaming
Diddy
at the
is not a
judge
high
and
bar.
they have to take you out of the courtroom. And in this case, before a verdict even comes in, you're saying, thanks, you did a good job. We'll see what he thinks about his job after the verdict comes in.
Yeah, after this verdict. So let's talk about the two different charges. The trafficking charge, if the jury believes that any of the traveling, well, there was traveling across state lines. Does consent
There
even matter?
absolutely
Because there were
was.
multiple witnesses who described getting all of the stuff, whether it was the drugs, whether it was the whatever product he wanted to have there, the Astroglide. They got it all to a hotel. They set it up. They transported sex workers to get there. Is that enough for the trafficking piece?
Well, I think that the prosecution in their closing argument is going to work backward. Okay, they're going to start with this promoting prostitution. And then, that's been conceded here.
Oh, he was
And then
stocking
work
up
your
on
way
baby
back
oil
and
for the
start building
apocalypse.
on the sex
For when the
trafficking
zombies get
and the
here.
racketeering as it relates to that transportation of prostitution, because there's nobody contesting that issue. So I think that might be the way the prosecution approaches their closing in this case.
And that makes sense. It makes good sense. I know the prosecution is saying for the racketeering, the law says you have to have a criminal enterprise, but they did bring on different witnesses and different people, the personal assistant for the defendant who worked for him, to, add that they were involved or their piece of the puzzle. So I think arguably a jury could find racketeering. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's going to come down to, in this case, and I don't always say this, that it comes down to the closing argument, but I think
Oh no.
in this
I
case,
probably can't get away with
the
that.
prosecution, they have a lot of stuff out there that they presented to this jury. They got to connect all the
But
dots.
I definitely remember
And if they
it.
can connect all those dots, I think working back from the promoting prostitution, they just might
You
get
said
there with regards
prostitution.
to the sex trafficking and ultimately the racketeering charge.
Every closing argument I've ever watched, which is many, many, many in my career, I've always thought if there could just be a simpler way to spoon
We're gonna
feed
get
the
into
jury
that in
in
the
your
next
closing.
video.
Oh, I know. A demonstrative aid.
So I think that's about enough of that. It pretty much covers it. So there is a journalist that has been following certain music artists for decades and doing interviews with them over time, from Lauryn Hill to Diddy, all the way through. And this dude did a piece on I know what happened to Diddy. So it's like good 20 minutes, but
The
it's
monster
great stuff.
in the way that I'm pretty sure even the devil is like, ooh. Ooh, somebody coming for my job.
Puffy is the real life boogeyman.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Everybody around.
What
Puffy
happened
scared of
was
Puffy.
he was a sociopath, a narcissistic sociopath, with nobody to tell him no.
What's up, bro? Yeah, no, I can't talk right now. They forced me to answer in the middle of this meeting in order to humiliate me.
He was grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who's gonna go. It's nothing to you but a tax write-off, but you're really searching for a butt the whole time.
Yeah, homie was
So,
doing commercials for
I was-
Nickelodeon
he was
and
looking for my
whatnot.
butt,
They're
Chopper
10
butt,
times more sus now.
everybody but. He was just signing a lot of boys. Usher, it was something he figured out that R. Kelly figured out is we can get them away from the parents. If we could get them alone, isolated,
R. Kelly cracked
know,
the
then we
code.
can get
and
'em.
Diddy went the full
I know
distance.
this man well enough to call
So
him
this
and
dude
say,
here.
hey, I need a favor.
Yeah.
And this might have been 10, 12 years ago that I call him and say, I have a family member who I want you to hire them as an intern.
Yeah.
And I have never talked about this publicly. And I
Dim to the
and
Greek
he
was
said
probably the
yes.
only
And they
time
were
that Russell
flying
Brand was
around, one of the
actually
interns, Atlanta, Miami,
interesting, but
whatever,
it's
on
so
the jet, in
tainted
the house,
at
whatever.
this point.
And then the internship stopped abruptly, like 3 or 4 months into it.
Yeah.
And I spoke to my family member, like, well, what happened? And they wouldn't say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did it end? They wouldn't say. And years later,
there is an
they
NDA.
finally came out, and this a mail,
Yeah.
and said that Puff had said, come home, stay the night with me.
Not
or
further
the
than
internship's
Diddy.
over. And they said, absolutely not. He said, absolutely not. And the internship ended. But from there, I was like, oh.
A lot of people have done a lot of pontificating on what makes Diddy tick. I think I figured it out. The sentence that will best help you understand Diddy came from Freddie P. from Making the Band. Freddie said
Making the Band.
he was addicted to breaking people.
Dude was doing
Puffy,
wild stuff.
It's an addiction, turning people out. That was just an addiction. That was his addiction.
That's because he's a sociopath.
Like back in the day when Making the Band was running, I saw that whole thing with like, go get me cheesecake and cupcakes and garbage. And I was like, this dude is insane. Ain't no way I'm watching this. Like, watching people scramble to get nothing and get humiliated, and none of them have careers to this day for the most part. Like, I can't think of anyone from Making the Band that actually was successful in the music business. So it was literally for nothing, and reality TV denigrating people. Like, I could not watch it. And now seeing more and more clips of it is just, it's brutal.
From a young age, Diddy liked feeling superior, and then he found he liked dominating people. And then, when his career really got going, he got into the wealthy man's art of breaking people. That's an insane thing to say, but we all saw it, Making the Band, when he made those kids walk.
Yeah, this dude does great exposés.
In their sit down, Teray asked the singer outright if he liked teenage girls, to which Kelly replied,
When you say teenage, how old are we talking? Girls who are teenagers.
Kelly then nodded but denied being attracted to anyone, quote, illegal. When Teray asked about the concerns raised by Kelly's manager and his brother regarding his interactions with young girls, Kelly said, unfortunately, the people who don't work for me say that. Do not listen to the people who were fired. Teray later wrote in the Daily Beast of the bad interview, the interview aired on BET once because as soon as Kelly's team saw it, they demanded that it never be shown again. But that one airing set the world on fire. It's crazy to have Aziz Ansari do a bit where he's talking about R. Kelly and you.
First question, the guy goes, now, Robert, are you attracted to teenage girls? R. Kelly goes, define teenage.
Bruh. Dead serious. Like, Abba and Preach had to ask themselves the question, if you had to let one go free and lock one up, would it be R. Kelly or Diddy? And they're like, yeah, lock Diddy up, because at least R. Kelly makes good music. I think they're both fucking trash. When you have to literally think about that for a minute, you're already in bad ground.
From Manhattan to Brooklyn to get him cheesecake. That was just cruel. That was just inhumane. That was just showing superiority. That had nothing to do with music and everything to do with I am superior to you and I am humbling you.
Oh, that dude was never in my Discord if we're talking about the same dude.
Cheesecake is in the least bit soft or brittle or not on point, your will go back. Somebody gonna quit. Somebody ain't got the heart, the stamina to be bad boy. Somebody ain't got the passion, the drive, the intensity to want it. Somebody's mental capacity breaks at a certain point. I need to see it now. I want to see it when I'm 2 million in.
Yo, fam, Puffy just told us to go to the store.
Like the rationales that Diddy comes up with to convince people that this is for a good reason is insane. That's where the narcissism comes in.
That's where the y'all live, y'all. I'm not walking Brooklyn is crazy.
Yo, it's called making the bitch, not making the band.
I said we go back and tell them we
See,
ain't doing
they
it.
even know they're getting played.
It's slave labor right here, man. If y'all bucking on this little right here, I definitely don't want to with y'all.
Niggas want this man, but we was just
How
on the
far
tip,
can
like
he
you was
push
trying
you?
to put us out there like a bitch or something, like make us walk all the way to Brooklyn, like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't really care however you took it or whatever went through your mind was a mission that had to be done. All this psychological, that's ego. So the ego's in your way. So the ego made the decision, especially with a like
pride.
you, when I help
Fucking
get your
with you.
ass out of a situation and you looking at me in my face telling me you ain't gonna do something. I can see if I told you to go rob a bank, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing some, I'm gonna go get some cheesecake. You got that much ego? Go do your thing, man. Don't sit here and be talking about it, man. Be fly about him.
And he is,
Get your
he's
swag
like
on, walk
straight
back.
faced.
Diddy loved all of that because he's a sociopath. He enjoys inflicting pain on others. He loves controlling others.
I was here for it, and even Dave Chappelle made a skit on it.
Separate
It was
occasions
bonkers
trying
shit.
to control me.
Between
as
Dave
a
Chappelle and the
journalist.
Boondocks,
So then he
they
starts
pretty
to get
much
upset.
nailed all these people.
And he's yelling at me. And I do remember him saying, I will end your career. And I was like, I don't even have any idea how you would do that. So I'm not employed by you. I don't need you for my employment. So,
I will buy Rolling Stone and fire you.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it just kind of went over my head of like, yeah, sure. Like, whatever. So he's kind of screaming and yelling at me, very angry.
Gus and Tyler Banks is a different kind of crazy.
Because I'm like, whoa, like, what is happening? I interviewed this man a lot.
This dude also
And
interviewed Lauryn
sometimes
Hill, and that was another
it was
revelation.
really interesting.
Do you think that people really know you?
No, people don't really know me, and that's by
what is
design.
it- Who is this person, the Sean Combs, that we don't know?
We have yet to find out.
Right.
You have to come
we
along
have
for the
found out.
ride. You have to come. I mean, that's the whole.
You gotta
part
party
of the
with
journey.
him.
That's the whole part of entertainment. I mean, you don't rock with a brother for like going on 20 years and stop now. You got to see this movie all the way through, baby. Believe me, I got an action-packed ending for
I
you.
gotta pull up some
I think
nonsense.
I understand him. He enjoys stepping on people. It gives him a perverse thrill. And he needs to feel superior to other people. He loves feeling like he's better than you and that he's got more than you. He's got the sense of entitlement like from a private school white kid. Like he seems to always have the sense that he should have all the things.
So
that's that pool story.
let me run this by some people that might have missed this. This was the first track, I believe, Puffy was on, where he actually put out some lyrics. I'm gonna fast forward. Let's see, where was it? I think it's
Who's that with Super Cat? Just black, where my troopers at? Oh, they got my back, but I'm still strapped. Got the real fat track for my ill rap black. Ain't no shame in my game, Jesse West is real. You think that I will scoop your girl? Oh, yes, I will. Check it. It gets hectic, I'm a racket. I make fellas jump up and girls get butt naked. So ring it round and rosy, pocket full of dough.
Well, if you think this is ass, Puff's verse is even
You
worse.
can see me like Stevie. Wonder how I'm living G, how I'm living lovely. It's a bad boy thing. 93 be coming through. Kick it with the flavor, dude. Hit you on the 1 and 2. Send you on the mission. And you
I just think they all look goofy.
I mean, this is
Is
like
it just me?
early 90s.
Nah, Puff Daddy hops. Flick super from the super with mad props. I beat the funky fly remix sketch. My man remake hits the fly thick that they get on your radio. It's the bad boy, look, making that noise, yo. 93 so act like you know, bro. Puff Daddy rolling through a super cat and Mary Jane. So what you say?
I love it when you call me Big Pop, but the show stop, but the rhyme drop, but Super Cat pass the clock. I see you shivering. Check the flavor Biggie Smalls is delivering. Lyrical lyrics is flowing lyrics out my larynx. Chubby competitor, quick to kick a jump in the chest. Yes, it's bad boy, on to the core. They can't take it no more.
So Biggie was definitely the talent going on there, but Puffy wanted to be the
Story
talent.
I'm going to tell you later.
And he was jealous of
Several
Big.
people said that his inner child was so
He did not
present
have the talent
and so
for it, and you can tell his
bratty
style
and
changed
so
drastically
entitled and spoiled
between
that
there
it
and
seemed
then.
like it felt like it should never wait for anything. It should never share with anyone. It should never have to be jealous of anyone. I mean, inner children can be super bratty and spoiled, but Diddy was on a whole other level. You know what somebody said to me? A bunch of people said this to me, that they thought that his inner child was like Eric
And he
Cartman,
wasn't wrong. And the second he took his
epically
eye off
entitled,
him,
self-centered
he
brat who
caught
thinks
one.
the entire world does and should revolve around him.
Go ahead, Mom. Fuck me. Fuck me right here in the best bath. You want to fuck your son so bad? Go on, Mom. Fuck me. Fuck me.
Someone else, independent of me asking them the question about his inner child, volunteered to me that they thought that his inner child is like Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka. She's an iconic super brat whose whole thing is I should have everything
Eric
I
Cartman
want
was a
right
monster.
now.
Veruca was
Perhaps
a monster.
his inner
Eric
child
Cartman's
is
worse.
wounded from not having had all the things when he was a child. Poor thing. And now he has to spend the rest of his life lording over all the rest of us that he has all the things. As if being wealthy makes you superior to other people.
Oh, y'all think this meeting is for me? No, this meeting is not for me. It's for y'all. See, I'm gonna be all right. I'm straight. I got villas in Brazil, Tahiti, East Hampton, West Hampton. Sergio gonna be fine. Fuck a recession.
At least 2 people in that room have had
I own
scandals.
20 kookaroos.
21, sir.
I own 21 kookaroos. Y'all don't own
3.
one
Jonah
kookaroo.
Hill's in that room
Not
too.
one. Not one. Y'all are fucked.
It was after Biggie died.
Maybe Hollywood
in
is
97,
diseased.
when things started cascading downward, step by step.
Nah, but Aziz was clean
First
on
step,
that one.
Diddy
But Jonah Hill and
decided
Diddy both
that Diddy would be
didn't
Bad
come out
Boy's
well.
#1 artist. This sounded insane to people inside the company. Even more so when he started going into meetings and referring to himself in the third person. So he's saying things like, well, Puff Daddy thinks, and Puff Daddy doesn't want to. People who had known him for years were like, what the fuck is going on? Now, if Diddy, the artist of the late 90s, had auditioned for Puff, the king of the A&R men of the early 90s, it would have been a no. It would have been a hell no. But here we are in the late 90s with Diddy as the #1 artist on Bad Boy. And of course, his album Forever was the company's first huge flop. But
Yeah, and that's why I showed that that video from before. He definitely did not have the makings to be a #1
Working for
artist.
Diddy for 6 years.
Oh, here we
trained
go.
me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy.
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
He expects.
Is he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that
Oh,
question.
wow. I think he's a
I
good
don't
guy.
want
I'm
to
gonna stick
answer
up for
that.
him.
Working for Diddy for 6 years.
Exactly. People knew.
But that set up step 2, because the people who thought that he shouldn't be the #1 artist at Bad Boy, they either left or were fired. And that starts Diddy cleansing his circle. He doesn't want anyone around
The
him
influence
who's not
peddling
gonna
is
support him
bonkers.
with whatever it is that he wants to do. He systematically eliminated anyone around him in his inner circle who might tell him no. Someone who used to work
Gotta
with
have
him
somebody
told
to
me
tell you no.
he had no one protecting him from his own worst impulses. That leads to him living like a debaucherous king. It's really dangerous to have someone like him surrounded by yes men and yes women. Someone like him who loved to push the limits of partying, sex, drugs. He was an ego-driven hedonist with no impulse control. He was a man who liked gay sex and was unable to be open about it. I know someone who says Diddy told them, women cannot fellate as well as men. And he did not use the word fellate.
I don't want to know what word he used. What we got, Dusty? Oh, I remember this. Giuliani in drag.
You know,
Oh,
you're
this is
really
rough.
beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
Yeah, he absolutely
I
is at
like
least
that.
bi.
This may be the best of all.
The funny thing is, I don't think Giuliani has fallen that much further.
Oh, Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.
Dusty, you're a menace.
He's also someone
My
who's
dude,
used to
bringing
getting
back the
away
hits.
with murder. He shot someone in Club New York, blowing up Kid Cudi's car. He may have poisoned Albie Shore. He might have.
No, like, dead serious. To think that the mayor of New York, like the hero mayor of New York, would end up with this legacy now, I quit. Exactly. And these are the people that are leading the charge against drag queens and trans people and everything else. And like, dead serious. the hypocrisy is probably the most irritating portion of it.
Killed Kim Porter. He's gotten away with so much that his sense of entitlement is through the roof. All of this coalesces to making him feel like I'm a king and making him think like he should act like a king and everyone around him should go along with it. There's kind of a Black Trump thing to Diddy. The entitlement, the egomania, the shameless self-marketing, the sense that I can get away with anything. The toxic masculinity. He's so Black Trump. At some point, Diddy began trapping people into a sort of social corporate ecosystem whereby in order to be on Bad Boy, they had to do pretty much whatever he wanted. You get in the
This
Bad
dude
Boy
does great
mix
work.
and they give you a little test. Take a shot. Take another shot. Let me touch your butt. Let me do this. Let me do that. Then maybe he'll throw something out. He'll ask you to do something either with him or with somebody else.
I'll type his name in. He does great interviews as well.
And you keep getting asked more and more things, and you keep compromising your principles more and more. If you say no, then you're out. And he might threaten to throw you out of the industry entirely. But if you're down, if he thinks you will play his nighttime games, then you can be in the club. But being in the club meant going along with what Diddy wanted. There was a lot of different things to that, but the
never want to say yes to Diddy.
bottom low of it
Gotta
all
tell Diddy no.
was the freak-offs. Cassie's over here having sex with random prostitutes while Diddy watches, all for his pleasure, while she's struggling to get through a 10-album deal, which is a paper prison. A 10-album deal means she's got to give him 10 albums. He doesn't have to do anything. He does not have to promote her album. So if he...
And this particularly sucks for Cassie because, like, this was before the ability to promote yourself via social media and, like, be your own promotion engine and the ease of being able to produce your own albums. And she had really good connections. Like, she knew Kid Cudi. Like, if she never would have gotten to the box that Diddy put her in, she would have had all the ability to make music that she wanted. And she would have rose or fallen on her own stripes. But we're never going to know now. Her, like, pretty much her legacy is everything that's happened during this trial.
doesn't give her a recording budget or promote her albums, she makes no money. So she's controlled within his corporation, within his corporate structure, as somebody who's not making any money, which allows her to be completely controlled by him. I think Diddy was purposefully not allowing her to make money so he could control her. If you're an artist and you don't put out an album and you don't tour, you don't make any money. It's so sad. Cassie was chasing a dream. She wanted to be a singer and she was working on her second album, and she thought
I feel really
that
bad
this
for Cassie.
man, this music industry titan, could help her. Cassie's friend told me Diddy would only talk to her about her album at the freak-offs. So she had to do this to keep him happy and to have a chance to talk to him about her album. This man was able to make people's dreams happen. You want to be a rapper? You want to be a producer, singer? He can make that happen. You know what he did for Cassie? He purposely prevented her from having a career. He kept her on the label, but kept her shelved. So she's not making any money, she's not putting anything out, she's not growing, and she has to keep coming back to him for more freak-offs in hopes of keeping him happy so that maybe one day she'll get to put an album out. She worked on that album for 10 years, but it was all a sham. There was never a release date. There was never a title. It was never supposed to come out. It was meant to entrap her. Cassie thought Diddy was helping her live out her dreams, but he was keeping her in his pocket until the next freak-off. When did Diddy become this sociopath who was willing to step
what we
on
all
people in order
wondered.
to get his way? I think we see it even in his childhood. You want to hear about the rosebud that explains Diddy's life and his mindset? Rosebud. I mean, the one thing that defines who he is at his core that was there even when he was a kid. People who think about this stuff generally focus on one story. I think they've got the wrong story, but the pool story is very important. Puff grew up in Mount Vernon, a little suburb about an hour maybe north of New York City, maybe 45 minutes if you drive fast. His neighbor in Mount Vernon, where he grew up, had a pool, and the Combs did not. And he really wanted a pool, and perhaps even there was a day when others were at that pool and he was not. And he felt left out. He felt jealous. He said,
Did
I
he
will
wanted people to
never
party
again
with him?
long for something. I will never again want
And they were
something that I
partying without
can't
him.
have. And his whole life became about having the pool, him having the pool that other people wanted to come to. So his parties in New York, which were legendary in his early 20s, Bad Boy in general, and the whole Bad Boy movement, whatever he was doing at his parties, in the white parties, in the Miami house, in the LA house, these are gigantic events, parties where he essentially has the pool and you are coming to him. He is the party guy who creates the event that you come. So you're coming to his pool. A friend of his told me the pool was a symbol for his life. The friend said it went from an elementary mindset, I want a pool, to saying, not only am I going to have a pool, I'm going to have everything, and I'm going to control the narrative, and everybody's going to want to come to me. So his whole life became about having the pool so he could control it. He wanted everyone to come to him so he'd never have to experience someone else having something that he wanted. That's the story that has meant so much to those of us who have studied this sociopath over the decades. But there's another story from his childhood that tells us a lot about the young sociopath.
I think this tells us a
When Puff
lot
was
more
12,
about him.
he had a paper route. Back then, it was normal for the most entrepreneurial kids in any neighborhood to have a paper route where they got up early before school, rode around on a bike usually, and threw newspapers into people's front yards. The point of the exercise was for kids to learn entrepreneurialism and to learn how to work. But this man somehow bought another kid's paper route, and then another, and another, till he owned multiple paper routes. And it's not like he was, I mean, other kids have done this, but it's not like Diddy was throwing papers into 4 routes worth of, no. He had other kids delivering papers for him. You may think that that was smart, and maybe it was, but look at it this way. At the beginning of his relationship to the work world, he is immediately seeing the potential to exploit people for capitalist means. The paper route thing was about entrepreneurialism, but he immediately turned it into the exploitation of labor. So at the very beginning of his professional life, he's already seeing other people as pawns to be used in
Have a
his
good night,
game.
Tessie. Thank you
Even
for
as
the
a
great
kid,
materials to add
Diddy's
to this.
impulse
I'll
was
probably
to
be waiting out
exploit
after this, but this is fun.
And that tells me he wasn't really seeing them as human beings. And that's because
And I'll get to the moral of the
he's
story.
a fucking sociopath.
You rest well, my dude. And ending on the face of Diddy. What's this one?
Did you look back on where I became?
Oh, here we
Did you
go.
miss me though?
Yep.
For real, because I'm
I
saying
miss-
it seems like a thing
I
with
miss
this
partying
birthday
with
party,
Puff, man. I
Man,
miss
but I'm
partying
talking about
with
for your
him.
birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
Yeah, we partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party. You know what I'm saying? Eyes, brother.
Oh, man.
Eyes,
These don't age well.
Eyes. I understand. I understand. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, how's it going, Dusty?
Yo, okay. So check this out. It's me, Tyrese, Ray J, and F. Gary Gray. You know, I'm a type of nigga, I like variety, man. I like people that's unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? I like different personalities. So I was like,
The look on
I
these
never
dudes'
knew they would
faces.
become what they are today. But you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, that sounded like the type of night I want to have in Vegas. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So Tyrese kept on
Fabulous
talking.
looks very unhappy.
Yeah. And Tyrese keep on talking about like how you got to get back for church. And we just like, yo, the night ain't start. You got to get back for church. We ain't
Oh, you didn't get
motherfucking
it?
Vegas, nigga. But like, you can go to church next week. You know what I'm saying? Sending your thing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but we in Vegas. Don't be bringing God into this situation. Don't bring God into this situation. You know what I'm saying? F. Gary Gray is like, nigga, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Ray J. So Ray J
I only had
is
time to
like
work on one or the other.
really like,
I went to sleep
feeling
directly
like
after
Ray
I
J
finished
right
that
now.
one.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I said let me pick it up.
was talking
That's why I said I gotta pick it up from right there. This why I gotta pick it up from right there.
Look at this nigga. This is a married nigga.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, bro.
The way he treats grown
I'm telling the
men.
story. Bro, we're intoxicated.
Listen.
Bro, we helping me build that
Yeah, I got
beautiful,
some
nice
new material for
Rastafari
that
brand of
piece
yours, huh?
just this
I
morning
see,
that I'm
man.
going to be adding. It's about halfway written.
To you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday. It's fabulous. The only nigga that got the name that I want. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah.
Let's take a shot for that, boy.
Things that do not age well. Yeah. So, moral of the story that I get out of this, when you have individuals like Puffy who have sociopathic tendencies and are more than happy to exploit other people for their own gain and bend people to their will and get rewarded with profit, you're only going to get more sociopathic people rising to the top of the spectrum with enough money to continue to profit off of people and make their lives benefit. And this is where we end up with all of these monsters floating around in the field doing horrible things. This is why we have the current president we have. I don't see why we should be rewarding this kind of behavior. But this is the landscape where we look at these people as if they are exemplary individuals. These are the worst people in our society, and we definitely shouldn't be rewarding them. And on that, I'm going to go ahead and rate out. I'm going to say, appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and rate into Wix, because I've never done that before. Step 1, still under press. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. Well, the story that we got, Dusty, was that Diddy got a paper route as a kid. And with that paper route, he bought all the other kids' paper routes, then hired other kids to work those paper routes. A lot of people will look at that as an entrepreneurial spirit and not look at the levels of sociopathy that it takes to get to that position. And we think that's what we want out of everybody in society. We want go-getters. We want people that are going to, work the system to get what they want, when really it just leaves people with so much largesse they don't know what to do with it and just continue abusing people. And until situations like this happen, these people never stop. There's nobody to tell them no, because they have so much money, no doesn't matter to them anymore. So, yeah. It has been a blast, y'all. I am going to call it a night for tonight, and catch you guys next week or later on this week. We'll see what happens first. Deuces. Hope everybody had fun, and as always, chat wins, and those clips were the best. I had a blast. Good night.